Tonight, it's prime time from Mile High, a special Sunday edition of college football. Wide open touchdown. The Rocky Mountain Showdown. The Rumble in the West. Colorado State takes on its arch rival Colorado.
Whoop. That's a shot.
Throw out the predictions. Since the 1800s, this back-and-forth battle for state bragging rights has kept coaches, fans, and players on the edge of their seats.
Inside the 30, down to the 20.
The Buffaloes will premiere a no-huddle offense. The Rams will showcase a defense of speed and strength. Pride and the Centennial Trophy are on the line. Colorado State battles Colorado. Exciting college football action is now.
Just 3 days ago, the Democratic National Convention brought an emotionally charged atmosphere to this stadium. Now, head coaches Dan Hawkins and Steve Fairchild hope that passion carries over to their two teams in this 80th edition of a classic rivalry. From Invesco Field at Mile High in Denver, a special Sunday night edition of Big 12 College Football Saturday. It is the Rocky Mountain Showdown as Colorado takes on the Rams of Colorado State. Hi, everybody. Joel Myers alongside Dave Lapham. Welcome to a new season of College Football Saturday with a special Sunday night edition. Seems, Dave, just a couple of years ago we were talking about Colorado starting over. New staff, new quarterback. Well, it's all changed, and so have the expectations. Now that Colorado went to a bowl game last year, and it's especially changed for the quarterback, Cody Hawkins.
And, Joel, I think the biggest thing that Cody Hawkins brings to the table is football IQ. Quick-minded decision-making. He knows everything there is to know about his offense and then some. And that assertiveness breeds confidence in his entire offensive unit. And the numbers he put up justify that. He set the freshman passing records. He rewrote the record book. And he's going to try to do more this year. And he's got another weapon to work with. He's got the top high school running back prospect in the nation. And this kid, I'll tell you what, you talk about a guy that's got a complete skill set. Size, speed, strength, balance. And he put up 7,615 yards and 99 touchdowns in high school to Darrell Scott. And his senior year, those numbers were a little distorted because of injury problems. We're going to see a lot of him tonight. He is the real deal.
Well, while Colorado has experience at the quarterback position, you could not say the same for Colorado State, even though they do have a senior starting at that position.
Billy Ferris, Joel, and Billy Ferris tonight, what he has to do is not make mistakes, manage the football game, get the team out of bad plays into good plays, and involve all of his playmakers in so doing. Johnson and Bell are big downhill power runners. They combined for 1,600 yards and 10 touchdowns last year. And his tight end, Corey Sperry, is a size-speed ratio nightmare. He's too fast for linebackers. He's too big for safeties. Last year in this game, he had 8 catches, 103 yards, 3 touchdowns. Big target tonight.
Well, last year it was a classic. We all watched it right here at Invesco. It went down to the wire into overtime as Colorado won. Hopefully more of the same. And even though Colorado has taken 15 of the last 20 from Colorado State, the Buffaloes know they're going to get their best shot from the Rams.
No matter how good CU is, no matter how good CSU is for the whole season, we always get CSU's best shot. I mean, they come out swinging haymakers, and they're trying to knock us out in the first round. And, I mean, it's always a great football game.
College Football Saturday continues from Mile High Stadium in Denver. Welcome back once again. Anytime Colorado State and Colorado get together, you know it is going to be a close game, and that's exactly what we saw on the same field last year. Colorado State leading by 3 at the half, and then Caleb Haney finding Corey Sperry. Touchdown made it 21-17. Running back Kyle Bell adding to the advantage, 28-17 after the touchdown run. But Sumler got one back for Colorado. A 3-yard run, 2-point conversion, 28-25. Eberhard, 22-yarder, he ties it up. 13 seconds left in regulation when he did that, and then Eberhard once again in overtime. Can he claim the victory for Colorado? From 35 yards away, he did it. And Colorado beating Colorado State. First time they've ever gone to overtime in the Centennial Cup battle. And as close as they have been there's an emphasis on the kicking game. And we've got a couple of guys that have never kicked for their respective schools. A true freshman, Ben DeLine. His father did kick for the Rams, though. Eric Goodman, under his belt, a season at Wyoming, fortunately, for the Buffaloes. Stay with us as we come back. We'll be ready for the opening kickoff in Denver. It's the 80th edition. Colorado State and Colorado. Big 12 College Football Saturday is coming up next. This special edition of College Football Saturday, all brought to you by FreeCreditReport.com. Do you know your credit score? You can find out right now instantly and online at FreeCreditReport.com. And also by Best Buy. You happier. We get ready for the opening kickoff. Colorado State. But first, the two teams just moments ago coming out for the first time. Near capacity crowd at Invesco at Mile High, and threatening weather, as you can see in the background. The wind is kicked up. That could be a decisive factor as we head downstairs, check in with Jim Knox. Knoxy.
Coach, a huge rivalry game. 7 out of the last 8 years, it's been decided by a touchdown or less. What's your gut feeling? What's going to come to tonight?
Well, who knows? You know, that's part of it, and it's fun to get in here and just throw yourself in it, and that's why you do it. So it's been a great round. It'll be a great game. We'll see. Keep the fans here till the end.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Now, Jamison Davis, a true freshman from Eagle, Idaho, is going to kick it away. We talked about the importance of the kicking game because they have been so close. Now, he is going to handle the kickoffs. But as I mentioned earlier, Eric Goodman, a sophomore who was a starter at Wyoming. And how much is the wind going to be a factor? Well, at first, they thought they were going to have to hold the football. Back deep. You're looking at John Mosier, reserve running back out of Miami, Florida. He's over to the far side. Mike Myers over to the near side, the senior from Riverside, California, and we are underway. Good kick.
Wow.
It'll stay in the end zone. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Rams. But Billy Ferris has not started a game since he was a senior in high school. Woodlawn High, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Just about an 8-minute drive from LSU Stadium. That was November of 2003. So if there are a few jitters at the outset of this game for this young man, you can understand why. And he's got good size. And he's a good-looking athlete at 6'2", 6'3", 225.
Yeah, you can see in the pocket, Joe. And his big thing right now is don't put your team in jeopardy.
Deion Morton, the motion man, is splits of the two backs and with the counter action. It's going to be Kyle Bell. Good yardage across the 20 and closed in a hurry, though. Look at him about 3.5 yards. And complimenting him offensively up front. The left guard is the experience for Colorado State. Godowski is a freshman, but we'll see Shelley Smith, the junior from Phoenix. They'll alternate. Not a lot of starts among the fivesome, but Smith did start all 12 last year.
Sperry's the guy at tight end to watch.
Yeah, they got 3 on first down. First throw is a beauty. It's complete. Rashawn Greer, the junior from Las Vegas. Well, that'll get your feet settled in. And good pocket protection, David.
No doubt about it, Joe, and a nice route. The two defensive tackles for Colorado are the standouts. I mean, they're going to plug it up in the middle. Hippolyte and Nicholas, they'll take control of things. Jess Smart, he moves from the Mike Backer to the Will. And Ryan Walters, captain at the free safety position. He's the quarterback of the defense.
His defense was susceptible to the pass last year. They were one of the best in the nation against the run, giving up only 128 yards a game. First down from the 30 now to the big game to Greer. Behind Deion Morton. Linebacker was there, and he's ready to pop in Jeff Smart. If it's thrown ahead, Smart's got to pick.
Well, what has to happen, Joel, is Colorado's loading the box up, and you can understand why. They're expecting Colorado State with the two big running backs, Johnson and Bell, to hammer the football between the tackles. So when they load the box up, Colorado State's wide receivers have to win the one-on-one battles on the edge. They have to win in order for Colorado State to be able to throw the football. A lot of traffic inside there as we're looking at between tackles. A lot of bodies in there.
Johnson, the tailback, split with Paunga. Like a wingback spot. They're going to run behind that side. And nothing doing. Knocking in again. Jeff Smart busted up the entire play. There's early penetration from the linebacker. They played him in the middle a little bit. He practice week today. You talk about similarly starting a middle linebacker. They're getting some athletes on the field.
They are, and Smart, basically, he's taken the spot that Jordan Dizon dominated the league at last year. Jordan Dizon, Defensive Player of the Year in the Big 12. Smart is appropriately named. He makes reads and comes downhill quickly, just like that. Very, very intelligent linebacker, plays the angles well.
Ferris needs a dozen for a first down out of the gun. Opening drive of the game. Good pocket protection, middle of the field, and thrown up the back of the defensive back. Ryan Walters, the free safety. He didn't know what hit him.
Yeah, he got his hand out there. Made a little bit of a play on it with that one hand, but this is what I'm talking about. The receivers on the edge, they have to win their battles, and Walter got his hand in there, left hand a little bit, and defended it, and just knocked it out of the possession of Wallace.
Josh Smith, the wide receiver, and the big play specialist for Colorado, waiting for the punt from Anthony Hartz. Best case scenario, Jason Smith was going to be punting and kicking for Colorado State, but a broken arm, and he's out. The wobbler, and Smith will take it back at the 18. Making a miss, but the ball's in the air. Look out. Colorado alertly covering the ball. And coming up with it back inside his own 10, Gardner McKay, a break for the Buffaloes.
You know, talk about the kicking game being a factor in this football game. Ball security is a must, and the ball security was not handled well enough by Josh Smith. Ball's knocked right out of there. I'll tell you, that's a really heads-up play, that saving disaster right there. McKay recovering that football, and Colorado maintains possession, but their field position to start this game is horrendous because of an early mistake in the kicking game.
Demetrius Sumner is going to start in the backfield with Cody Hawkins. We will see Darryl Scott, though. We'll also see another true freshman rookie running back, Rodney Stewart. Going to be Sumner banging his way for a yard the most. Swarming defensively, coming up, Michael Sisson, the strong side backer on the outside. Cody Hawkins last year threw for a little bit better than 3,000 yards. That was third best among freshman quarterbacks. One guy ahead of him, only 100 yards ahead of him, quite an athlete, Sam Bradford of Oklahoma. He topped all the first-year guys. Now Hawkins out of the gun on 7 and close to 10. Ton of time. Up for grabs and off the fingertips of the defensive back. That was Amonier. He had a better shot at it than Josh Smith.
Colorado State tried to substitute personnel late. There was a long run to get that personnel group in. And really, it's hard to throw a football over a defensive back's head when he's given that much cushion. I mean, he was given all kinds of cushion. You can't, and he had a better opportunity to make a play on the football than the receiver.
David, the wind is really whipping right now into the face of Cody Hawkins and Colorado. He's sent it a good distance when you consider the way the wind has gusted up.
Yeah, if you look at the top of the goalpost, you see how those flags are blowing at the top of the goalpost. I mean, it is definitely in his face.
So now critical third down early, field position-wise, with a slip screen. That's Scotty McKnight, and he won't go anywhere. Job by Pagnotta. Owens over there too, and the Colorado State Ram defensive unit, a much maligned group last year when they gave up on average better than 400 yards a game.
And I'll tell you what, Larry Kerr, the defensive coordinator for Colorado State, thrilled to death with the first series that his group gave him out there, effort-wise. The enthusiasm, the intensity was pretty dramatic. Colorado's going to have to match it.
And now a timeout has been called by Colorado State before the punt by DeLallo. We'll come right back. Emotionally charged Invesco Field at Mile High, and the Mo early, it belongs to the Rams. Colorado State. The Rocky Mountain Showdown continues. College football Saturday, and we are in Denver. Well, we haven't even played 3.5 minutes, and it seems like we already got a quarter and a half into the books. It is that emotional right now at Invesco in Denver. Colorado State ready to get it back as they shut him down. Josh Smith gave it away on a punt return. It was recovered by Gardner McKay, but it set him up inside their own 5. So now, tough job. DeLallo punting into a stiff breeze to Dion Morton. They are scoreless with 11:42 to play in the first 15. Good protection, but a little wobbler. Orton will stay away. Colorado roll, but still plus territory for the Rams when they get it for the second time offensively when we come back. So Ferris has a series under his belt. The quarterback for the Rams also picked up the first down. Stay with us. We're scoreless so far in Denver. Colorado State though, short field as they get it to the Buffaloes 47. Well, since 1993, Sonny Lubeck has been the program at Colorado State. He turned everything around in Fort Collins, but now Steve Fairchild takes over, a guy that knows about the environment, the culture, and talked about coming back to his alma mater.
Well, I'd always been looking for the opportunity to be a head coach and wasn't quite sure when and if an opportunity would come about, but this one was special because I went to school here and, met my wife and been here as an assistant coach, so it sure seemed like the right fit.
He had been the coordinator for Sonny Lubeck, had been an assistant there for 8 seasons under Lubeck before he went to the NFL in 2000. They stack it up on the wide side of the field for Kyle Bell. Between his guard and tackle, though, he did not bounce it outside. He still gets a little more than 2, almost 3 on the first down carry inside the 45.
Bell last year rushed 40 times for 135 yards and a touchdown. He shrunk the game. He controlled the clock. They were able to establish their ball control mentality, which is what they want to do tonight again against Colorado. Will Hippolyte Nicholas and company be able to stop that power inside running game?
And that's the key, what you just talked about, the game of keep away. Keeping Cody Hawkins and the offense off the field by maintaining ball possession with long drives if you're Colorado State. Ferris on 2nd and 7. Little dump off underneath to his fullback. And good yardage for the first down. Paunga, the sophomore from Lakewood, Colorado. He started as a redshirt freshman last year, and he's got it moving the chains, Dave.
The key to that, Joel, outstanding. I don't mean good, I mean outstanding pass protection. Colorado rushes 4, drops 7. They bunch them all up. There's nobody within sniffing distance of Ferris, and he just checks down. They drop 7 into coverage, nothing downfield. He says, okay, I'll just hit my fullback and pick up a first down. The big boys up front, tip of the cap to you. Absolutely took care of Colorado's 4-man pass rush with ease.
It was a problem for Colorado last year.
Yep.
Dave, they stopped the run, but they couldn't get to the quarterback. They could not get sacks last year.
No, you're right. I mean, that was a big issue. They only had 19 sacks last year and 47 quarterback pressures. That's not enough.
A first down at the Buffaloes, 35 for the Rams. Bell is the single. Watch out for number 80 before too long. It's going to be a screen. 80 was the blocker, but it didn't do much. On the receiving end, it was John Mosier who went in the slot, the sophomore from Miami, and Smart got him.
Watch the recognition. Colorado recognizes they all stay on their feet in pursuit of the football. Sperry gets his block, but the inside-out pursuit, separation off of block at the linebacker level was outstanding. Nobody got cut in half. Nobody got knocked to the ground. The Buffaloes all stayed on their feet and ran to the football. Excellent team defense.
Working with the wind at his back. It's going to be 2nd and long. 2nd and close to 8. Again, Ferris out of the gun with 2 to each side. A dead ball. False start foul coming up.
Yeah, I think the center forgot the snap count.
Before the snap, false start, 53 offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
On the right tackle, Pemberton, but I agree with you. Everybody was moving.
Yeah, everybody was moving, and the ball wasn't moving. I mean, he's going to jump on the outside, but there were other guys at the line of scrimmage that were jumping as well, and the ball still hadn't moved. But he might have been a little early, even on the snap count. When you're blocking a pretty good edge rusher like he's facing, the first thing you want to do is take that first quick set, but you cannot forget the snap count and do it early.
So take it back outside of the 38, 2nd and 13. Bell again, can't get a seal, can't get anything over to the right side. Shut down completely by Brad Jones, the strong side backer.
So the penalty gets you off schedule, and then Colorado follows that penalty up with a tackle for loss. So this is not the situation that you want to put your quarterback, your inexperienced quarterback in. You don't want Billy Ferris facing 3rd and 15. What will Colorado do? Will they rush 4, drop 7? Will they come with a pressure package? This down and distance favors the defensive football team.
Now, will they look for number 80? They haven't gone in this direction yet, and that's a world-class tight end, Corey Sperry, who had 8 grabs last year. It's a screen instead. A good idea to Bell. And Bell toppled inside the 35 at the 33. Do you gamble the long field goal try on a guy who's not yet kicked for you, a true freshman, even though he has the wind at his back?
That's right. Well, the reason that Colorado State came up with the short field is Colorado punted into the wind, and you had a low punt trajectory-wise as a result. Colorado State comes up with the short field. It looks like they're just going to go for it here on 4th down. They're not going to go for the long field goal. They're certainly not going to punt it. They're going to go for it here on 4th and 8. If they punt it, it goes in the end zone. They only pick up 13 yards.
Bell in the backfield. Out of the gun. Paunga stays there as well with Billy Ferris. Pocket holding up again for Ferris. He's got the time, but will Bell be able to get the marker? No. Colorado takes over as they fail the Rams on 4th and 8.
And to me, Joel, that's equivalent to a takeaway. It doesn't go down in the books as a turnover, but it's like a fumble that's been recovered. You lose it on 4 downs, it's like a giveaway.
So the Rams wasted a big opportunity early. The short field don't get points, and Colorado's got it back. Getting windy, a little darker as College Football Saturday continues from Mile High at Invesco. For more on the condition, let's join Jim Knox. Knoxy.
Thank you, Joel. The field's in pretty good shape. All you see is some discoloration. That's due to the Democratic National Convention, which closed on Thursday. They told me 9,000 folks were on the turf, a total of 84,000. It's in tip-top shape, but rain is on the way, guys.
All right, Jim. Yeah, the wind has picked up. You can feel it over the air now. A couple of yards for Demetrius Sumler. And we had an opportunity to talk about Cody Hawkins earlier, but he's working behind a huge line, and especially the 2 sophomore tackles. Sanders is the experience. 3rd year as a starter, but Solder is 6'9".
Right.
Ryan Miller is 6'8".
They're both athletic.
That's large.
Yeah.
Josh Smith is their big play threat. Patrick Williams, and don't forget about Scotty McKnight, who led them in receiving last year. He'll come off the bench wearing number 21. Hawkins in trouble. How about the screen to Sumler? He's got a block. He's got a first down, and he's popped across the midfield stripe with a first down at the 43 of Colorado State. What a call.
Set up perfectly, and the guy that got the big block, Daniel Sanders, Pancake City, get out the maple syrup, number 75 in the dark jersey. Watch the big center down the football field right here. Ooh, Pancake, down he goes. Put on the syrup. That's an extra 10 yards because Daniel Sanders locked him up and drove him to the turf. Nice job, big fella.
Any butter on those hotcakes? Yeah,
I always like a little butter. You got to do that. You got to butter it up. You got to put some syrup on it. I'm into the pancake. Daniel Sanders, one of the 50-year senior captains. He's played a little guard. He's seen it all. A lot of football. He knows what this big rivalry is about.
John Bible, our referee, headed over. Straighten something out.
Joel, I got a question for you. Do you think if Jason Smith were kicking today, you think they would have tried a field goal with Jason Smith?
No question.
I agree.
Absolutely. With the wind at their back.
I think that was the first time today that the Jason Smith factor, he was the kicker that was all set to go, but he broke his right arm in a mock game trying to recover a misplay, a snap ball that was on the ground. He dove for it. Other players dove for it. He broke his right arm. Not season ending, but he was going to punt and place kick. And
huge blow.
Yeah, huge. There he is right there with his arm in a sling. And I think if he were in the football game, they would have lined up to put the first points.
There was an equipment malfunction. The play is not under review.
Equipment malfunction? That's not Jackson, is it?
You're talking about the guys up in this booth?
Equipment malfunction. That was halftime of the Super Bowl.
No, you're talking about Jason Smith, the senior from Centennial, Colorado. Needs 19 this year to become the all-time leader at Colorado State. That's how much he has meant to the program. And they definitely would have gone for it. A guy that's hit 75% of his career attempts. On first down for the 43. Dead ball foul coming up.
Before the snap, false start, 66 offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Redshirt freshman from Phoenix, Blake Behrens.
Everybody's a little jumpy. Blake Behrens at the guard position, just a little bit edgy, a little bit jumpy in there. And there he is, leaning forward before the snap of the football.
Real close.
He's jumping the defensive lineman, trying to get some distance, separation between his rush guy and the quarterback. And yeah, he just mistimed it just a skosh.
So first and 15. They'll run McKnight, they'll give it to McKnight, and it's going to be a double reverse. Here comes the other wide receiver, Josh Smith. And Smith takes it with a couple of hits for 8 down to the 40. Now, defensively for the Rams from Colorado State, got to get better after last season when they gave up better than 400 yards a game. Tommy Hill up front. Can he get some pressure? The senior had 5.5 sacks last year. Ricky Brewer and Herinek, they've been there. They've done that for Colorado State. And in the secondary, Clint Kubiak. Hopefully that young man can stay healthy. Played well in the opener last year. In fact, played the first 2 games very well, and then out for the rest of the year like Sperry after the first 2 games due to injuries.
His dad, of course, head coach for the Texans. He's part of the football family, no doubt about that. His younger brother, a backup quarterback.
It'll be Sumler looking for the first down marker. He'll be short. They get to him just shy of the 35, so about 2 yards needed for the first down coming up on 3rd.
We showed Sanders what he did on the screen, getting out in front. Watch the big fella, the little double team with the center and the off guard. Now you finish. Oh, pancake number 2. Get out some more syrup. He's running low on that bottle.
I'm losing it early with you.
End ball fell. Ball start. 72 offense.
Too hungry up front, those guys. That's Devin Head, the left guard.
Yeah, the interior guys. You know, and they're close enough to the quarterback. Usually the guys on the edge, the tackles. They're so far away they can't hear the quarterback. With peripheral vision, if you can't hear the quarterback, get one of your eyeballs down on the football. Don't you move until the football moves, just like a defensive lineman. I know it negates your only advantage, but if you can't hear, you have to start using your eyes.
It's a noisy ballpark, though.
Yeah.
We're talking about Seattle where the Seahawks play, but this is wild. Now Hawkins in trouble. Sumner will be pounded as soon as he caught it. Good play over the middle. And the stick, as he hit him early, coming up out of the secondary. And it was Herinek, in fact, the linebacker on the weak side. And he's short of the first down by about 4.
Not the fastest guy in the world, but when he diagnoses, he plays at another speed. Really closes on the football. Cody Hawkins a little bit frustrated right now. You know, in 3 scrimmages, Colorado inter-squad scrimmages, the offense rolled up 19 touchdowns. They were unstoppable against their own defense.
So a little more than 4 to play in the first quarter. And Delano, we'll see if he can down it inside the 20. Morton waits on the wobbler. And Colorado hop as he'll get to it. And deep in Colorado State territory. So the Rams will get it for the 3rd time offensively, back at their own 13. And this week, College Football Saturday, all presented by Acura. Suzuki returns. Got a twin bill. It'll all start with 17th ranked BYU taking on the Huskies of the Pac-10 from Washington. Then Louisiana Tech. They will be there looking upset 13th ranked Kansas. Non-conference showdown in Lawrence. Coverage all start. College football kickoff show Saturday. This coming Saturday, don't forget, at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 out on the West Coast in high definition.
Joel, the Colorado Buffaloes have flipped field position. They had the error on the punt return, put themselves back at their own 5. They've steadily, with exchange of possessions, regained advantage of the field position.
Johnson, big hole up the middle. He's got a first down and breathing room. So much for field position.
Right.
He did it on his own. The senior from Miami, who averaged over the last half of the season 126 yards a game on the ground for the Rams.
I want to know, how long did it take him to grow that hair? Man, that's unbelievable. But he hits it. Off lineman gets the block. It's just a little power play pulling that off guard. He fits his block exceptionally well. And off to the races goes the big man Johnson. But you know, up front, Joel, Shelly Smith, the best athlete up front. He can really run, can really pull. He did a great job, 74 on the white.
That's the starter at left guard that you're talking about. Go top heavy on the right side, the wide side of the field. Johnson with the cutback action just keeps him spinning, doesn't he? Boy, what a tough guy to bring down. He's got it for almost 4, close to the 35. Your entire order ships for just $2.95 at Overstock.com. Overstock.com at home with the O.
You know, they're getting closer and closer, Joe. I know you've been looking for it too. Sperry, at some point, they're really anchoring Colorado in between the tackles, running that football. At some point, little play action pass. And right there, Corey Sperry. He's lined up in the slot. He's lined up as an H-back right now. They're going to go to him at some point.
He's on the same side as the other tight end, Pikes. He'll give it on a little delay action to Johnson. Nothing doing. 2 yards at the most, up to the 36. So in that kind of in-between, run or pass down on 3rd and 5. But Corey Sperry last game and the opener last year, how about 8 catches, and 3 of the 8 went for scores.
That's amazing. And Fairchild, the head coach, likened him to Tony Gonzalez, who's played on this field, the Kansas City Chiefs when they've come here to play against Denver. He was a Division I basketball recruit, 6'5", 250, tremendous athleticism, change of direction, can run. Keep working on that blocking. That's the little bit of the fly in the ointment for him.
Colorado State 0 for 2 so far on 3rd down tries. He's 3rd less than 5. Little bubble screen, and it's short, and they're going to call it a catch for Rayshawn Greer. Man was on his back before the ball was in there. Yeah, no flag on Chappelle Brown.
Yeah, Brown read it, Joel, and he got off the block. It's a wide receiver screen. Watch Brown separate. Oh, the block never came. John Johnson never got the block, and he couldn't help his receiver out on the wide receiver screen. But a quick read by Brown. He diagnosed that immediately.
Josh Smith waits for the punt. Another guy who's not punted for Colorado State. That's Anthony Hartz. He almost fumbles away a high snap with the flag down. Low line drive over the head of Smith. Recovers in time. Good coverage downfield, though. Rams get to him. It was Clint Kubiak. So Kubiak, great play on special teams. The flag is down, though, at the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I wonder if somebody was downfield. They may not have had 7 men on the line of scrimmage. You have to have 7 men up on the line. They may have only had 6. The punt team's the offensive team, going to get 7 on there.
Not enough men on the line of scrimmage. Colorado State will re-kick with a 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Now, do you know about that so well because you were a victim? You were there. You were the guy.
You know what it is? It's like the tackles sometimes, Joel. Guys will line up too far back off the line, trying to get angles on the rush guys. You have to creep up in that line of scrimmage and make sure 7 guys are right across the line of scrimmage.
A break for Colorado after Kubiak did a sensational job on special teams. Corral Smith back at the 10. Now, will the Buffaloes be able to take advantage? What's going to be the difference in territory? Because in your debut, that's the last thing you can be beaten by is special teams play.
Yeah, and he didn't like that call at all. He's saying, you kidding me? You're saying that one of my up men, they just weren't up on the line of scrimmage far enough, and you called that? That's ticky-tack.
Another real low liner. Smith from the 28. And he's got a little bit of a lane, making a miss. So instead of the 10, how about a plus 32 on that play?
Yeah.
They get it out to the 42. Huge sequence early in this game.
And those low line drives, Joel, they're hard to cover. You have to get hang time and give your coverage team an opportunity to get down the football field. Those low line drives will come back at you very, very quickly.
So Colorado from their own 42. And the expectations, as we documented at the top of the telecast, after only 2 wins for Dan Hawkins in his first year, to go 6-6 regular season and a bowl game and a close loss to Alabama last year, and now a year under that young man's belt, Cody Hawkins. So the pressure, the expectations totally are different going in. It's Sumler. We have not seen Darryl Scott yet. Bangs his way for 3 up to the 45. Tommy Hill wrapped him up, and as soon as I say we have not seen Darryl Scott, it's the debut of one of the top high school recruits in the nation. A lot of people thought he was going to Texas. He committed to Colorado, where his uncle, Josh Smith, is a wide receiver.
And Scott is everything that was advertised. The coach said he came in a little out of shape. He's lost 20 pounds. He's put together right now, I'll tell you.
On the play fake, Hawkins, Scotty McKnight, he's got it for a first down. Didn't take long to use Scott as a decoy. The defense went to the near side, Hawkins the other way, and it's down to the 44.
Yeah, a little play action. It turns into a naked bootleg. They run a counter and then roll Hawkins away from it. There it is, all the action going to the left. He comes out to the right, his right, the offense's right, and throws the football to McKnight. And McKnight and Hawkins, chemistry immediately. Childhood friends, they get timed up there on the same page right away.
Hawkins out of the gun again. Scott as a decoy. And on the reception, the former walk-on who now has a scholarship. Scotty McKnight, the first freshman to ever lead Colorado in receptions as he did last year.
You know, Joe, a 9 route, which is just a straight down the field go route. There's 3 different ways a quarterback can throw that. Over the outside shoulder, the inside shoulder, and McKnight Cody Hawkins, they knew exactly what each other was going to do without even having to look to communicate. They were on that same page to that extent. Cody Hawkins didn't have that kind of a relationship with his other receivers. He had to build on that. He and McKnight had it immediately, though, because they had worked together long before they got to Colorado.
Well, that's the end of a scoreless first 15 minutes of play in the debut of Steve Fairchild as the coach at Colorado State, taking over for the legendary Sonny Lubin. Momentum right now, though, belonging to the Buffaloes of Colorado. The end of the first 15 minutes of play. We'll come right back to Invesco at Mile High. You're watching a special edition of Big 12 College Football Saturday in Denver. We get ready for the start of the second quarter, and welcome back to College Football Saturday. A special Sunday night edition from Invesco at Mile High. Joel Myers, Dave Lappman, Jim Knox. And dead even at the end of the first 15 minutes of play. Colorado driving, though, as we look at the numbers at the end of the first quarter. And not a lot of offense. Field position very important with the wind gusting now.
Look at the time possession, though. Colorado State playing keep away like they had hoped, limiting Colorado's opportunities.
Buffaloes have it at the 31 on the first snap of the second quarter. This drive started back at their 42. Hawkins out of the gun. It's Darryl Scott, first career carry, and taking it up the middle. Good game. Almost to the 25, so just about 6 for Darryl Scott, who goes at 6'1", 220. And Keys coming in, David.
Yeah, for Colorado, keys the game, win the line of scrimmage. They feel they got an edge at center, and both the tackles, like we talked about in the open, as well as 2 defensive tackles. They got to win the line of scrimmage and spy Sperry. You got to pay a lot of attention to him at tight end. Double cover him with linebacker and safety.
Little play action. Hawkins way out of the reach of Josh Smith, with a flag thrown by John Bible, where you normally see a holding call.
Yeah.
Holding, offense number 73. That's a 10-yard penalty, second down.
That's Ryan Miller, the right tackle.
6'8", 310 pounds. Rush man got underneath him a little bit. Took him to the ground. Here he is at the right tackle position. He's in the 2-point stance. He's got the kick step set. Takes him inside. Now he gets a little high, and he takes him down to the ground. Pulls the shirt, pulls the shoulder pads, and then just kind of pins him to the ground. Colorado State, smart quarterback play. No, don't put your team in jeopardy in the kicking game. A true freshman and a junior college transfer punting and kicking today for Colorado State. Big factors in this game.
It'll be second and almost 15. Hawkins, middle of the field. McKnight's available. Touchdown, Colorado! .36 yards to his favorite target from last season.
Found the seam. McKnight found it. Continued down the football field. Cody Hawkins, perfect touch. Hit him in full stride.
Eric Goodman, his first kick as a Buffalo. He's got the extra point. Gets that out of the way. And the middle of the field available for Cody Hawkins with McKnight.
Good protection. Hawkins puts it on the money, over the safety, in front of the cornerback. Colorado pierces the scoreboard first.
Cody Hawkins talking to him upstairs after the perfect passes. He's only missed one so far. Starting the game 6 for 7. In fact, 3 of the 6 completions have gone to that young man. And the score, this guy to McKnight.
You know, comfort level, Joel, you can't beat comfort level. And McKnight and Hawkins have it. They're on the same page. It's like peanut butter and jelly. They're good apart, they're better together.
Downwind, Davis, as Mike Myers will definitely keep it to the end zone after bobbling the football. And the Rams will have it first and 10 at their own 20.
First of all, a few things happen. Watch the offensive line pick up the stunt. Hrenek doesn't get a deep enough drop. Perfect pass over the linebacker between the safeties trying to close. A bunch of things happen well. Look at the lineman pick up the twist. Give him protection over the Hrenek, in between the safeties. A lot of things happen. Offensive line, quarterback, wide receiver. Everybody performed at a high level. 6 points on the board as a result.
Well, let's see how the Rams respond. Long field. The quarterback has done a decent job managing the game, and that's all they want out of Billy Ferris.
Yep.
Don't make mistakes. And Steve Fairchild said they just want good management. As Ferris goes over the middle, first grab of the game for Sperry. He's got 8, up to the 28. And one last look on the McKnight score.
Got to keep those legs loose, McKnight. Looks like you're going to have a big night. Watch the offensive line sort out the twist, pick it all up. Perfect throw. Hawkins knew as soon as he released it, he had a shot with McKnight. He knew it was over Horenick's head. Did I split those safeties? Perfect throw by Cody Hawkins.
Need only 2 on second down. At the 28, Kyle Bell is the single. Spread it out with 3 wide receivers. Bell, power back, gets it by a yard. He's got it to the 31. You're talking about a career best 40 carries for this young man last year. Had a touchdown, 135 yards in the 3-point loss, a senior from Keensburg, Colorado.
You know, Joel, a lot of times it's thunder and lightning. With Colorado State, it's thunder and thunder. I mean, both of those backs are the same type of running back. Bigger body guys, 225 to 230. Lower those shoulder pads, just finish runs.
Yeah, pound it, try to wear him down. It's tough to wear down, though, George Hippolyte and Brandon Nicholas, the underneath tackles.
Yep.
And Hippolyte in particular, an All-American candidate on the play fake. Ferris in trouble. First sack of the game for the Buffaloes.
Nicholas.
And we were just talking about Nicholas and Hippolyte. He ran into a stone wall, didn't he? The young man out of modern-day high school, Santa Ana, California.
Nicholas started his career at Notre Dame. Transferred out of Notre Dame, came to another Golden Dome helmet, and that's Colorado. Watch him stay with it, separates from the blocking. Boom. And what all it is just stay after it. Push the pocket. Quarterback has to step up. Nicholas comes off the block. Basically, the defensive ends did a good job. The main reason that sack occurred, coverage sack. Nowhere for quarterback to throw the football. When he stepped up in the pocket, it was over.
Loss of 6. Ferris again out of the gun on 2nd and 16. Heat again. It's Morton, and in and out of his hands, incomplete. Deion Morton kicked it away. And it looked like it came to his hands, then popped out off his knee. And it'll be 3rd and long. Worst case scenario for the Rams and their fans.
Looks like, Joel, that Colorado's D-line is starting to take control of things a little bit up front. And I tell you, that was a pretty good rush off the edge right there.
Yeah, we were just talking about the underneath tackles, the consistency, 2 guys that show up all the time.
And Joel, they feed off each other. It's a friendly competition. One guy makes a play, the other guy wants to make a play. They want to make sure that this was an incompletion and not a catch and fumble. It's being looked at, I guess. Every play in college football is looked at. It's a matter of, do you want to take the time to continue the review process? And it looks like they've communicated with Bible that they want to take a longer look.
Well, now you get an idea of what we were talking about. The wind kicked up, the temperature dropped, and you can almost smell rain a few miles away. And here's our position. Jim Knox, hopefully you're under cover.
Oh, no, this is good football weather. Lappy, you would love it down here. The big Hawks would love it. Nice, cool rain coming down. The harder the better for the big guys.
You know what, Knoxy? It's a grease pig down there now. When the ball gets just a little bit wet is when it's the most dangerous.
I think the more it rains, the louder the crowd gets.
Tell you what, all they need is a little soap down there, a little shampoo. Would be a big group shower down there.
Yeah, we've done so many.
Malfunction. The play is not under review.
Play's not under review.
And it looked like it never got in and was held onto by Deion Morton. Dave, we have done so many of these games, going back a number of years now, and every year it seems like it gets a little bit. Do we get older or does it get louder down there?
I'll tell you, if the fans get into it, there's no question about it. I mean,
this is what it's all about.
This is exactly what it's all about. You're in a venue like this, approaching 80,000. The stadium will hold, and they're in full throat tonight. There's no question.
Now 3rd and long. Bell is the single with Ferris in the backfield. We're 2.5 minutes into the 2nd quarter as the Buffaloes have the only points of the game so far. Little stunt action up front. A lot of time for Ferris, and almost picked off. Knocked away from Morton.
Walter.
Big play by the safety Ryan Walters, the senior from Aurora, Denver's upper.
Joel, if he played the ball, he might have gone pick 6. He's playing the receiver, doesn't really find the football, and just makes a big hit on the receiver. I thought if he made a play on the ball, he might have cut in front of that thing and gone the other way with it.
I've played a lot of pick 6s, and I've never stepped onto the field during a Saturday or a Sunday. Waiting back deep, it's Josh Smith for the punt. Now, what about field position?
Oh,
a high snap. You talk about a wet pig.
Yep.
He's got to get, and he won't get it away. It got away from Anthony Hartz. It almost squirmed away from him a couple of times before.
You know, when the ball just gets slightly wet, it is the slipperiest. If the ball is soaked, it's easier to grip. But if it's just a little bit of wetness, it's really slick, and you can't control that high snap. It affects the center as well. This snap was high. Hunter can't control the high snap. Colorado has about as short a field as you can get. And it's, not, again, not a turnover, but it's a huge special teams gaffe right there.
Well, Mulder and Neighbors were down there and in on top of the situation. So first and goal from outside of the 5. Sumner is the running back. He's got a good lead block. And powers his way inside the 2 down to the 1. Gain of about 5.
One thing that you can't do in a rivalry game like this is make mistakes and self-destruct. And that's a self-destruction mistake right there. Just snap to punter, not executed.
Quick snap. Diving. He's in. Touchdown. A hurry-up play. Cody Hawkins did it himself.
You're right, Joe. I don't think Colorado State's defensive front ever got in their 3-point, 4-point stances in that goal line situation. And he cozied up behind big Daniel Sanders once again. And he paved the way. And Cody Hawkins has thrown for 1 and run for 1 so far tonight.
So points off a turnover very quickly. And a little get away from Colorado State. An inexperienced side of the offensive unit. Extra point by Goodman is good. And a 14-0 lead very early, all of a sudden, in the second quarter for Colorado. So Hawkins got him before they could respond. The sneak and 2 scores. This special edition of College Football Saturday, all brought to you by Verizon Wireless. And the first down marker brought to you by Overstock.com. Shop with the company that supports college football. Overstock.com. At home with the O. And right now, at home in Denver, the Buffaloes of Colorado. A wet group at Invesco at Mile High as the rain still coming down. Pretty good pace. Not as hard as it was about 10 or 15 minutes ago. But it definitely impacted the snap and the hold by the punter as it squirted through. Young man punting for the first time in college football. He got away from Hartz. He was down at 5 at a short 2-play drive. With points right away.
Hartz right now has a broken heart. He's feeling pretty badly.
Davis downwind. It'll be Mike Myers at the goal line. And Myers won't make it back to the 20. Good coverage downfield. Flag down to the play. And also Myers down after the play by Travis Sandersfield, the safety. Redshirt freshman out of Lyman, Colorado. Well, they make him kick it over.
Offside. Kicking team number 54 will re-kick with a 5-yard penalty.
And that he was right next to the kicker. He was the #1 man next to the kicker. He should have been able to time it up better. Let's take a look at the touchdown that Colorado scored on the quarterback sneak by Cody Hawkins. Colorado State's defense got to get ready. They're kind of milling around. Colorado's already at the line of scrimmage getting the play. Still milling around. What do we do? Not even in their stances, I mean. And all of a sudden, it's a rugby scrum right at them. And they're knocked back into the end zone because they weren't ready to take on the blockers. They have to get set and penetrate and get underneath Colorado. They couldn't get it done. It was an easy jaunt for Cody Hawkins.
And don't forget, and they may not need to show it in this game, but one thing Dan Hawkins told us, they worked on the no-huddle.
Oh, yeah.
They scrimmaged the no-huddle regularly to get ready for the new rules, and especially with the 40-second clock.
Well, they both have done it. Colorado State and Colorado. They've both gone no-huddle tonight, but you can go no-huddle attack tempo like that. You can go no-huddle and milk the clock at the line of scrimmage. You can go no-huddle a bunch of different ways.
Davis gets into it pretty well. It's going to be Myers back at the 1 after the mark-off. Will the coverage be the same? Yes. So all he got back was the 5 on the penalty. Instead of the 18, it's at the 23 for Colorado State. Can they get it together offensively? Well, next week, the NFL on Fox regular season begins. First, how about the Rams taking to the Eagles? Or it could be Bucs, Saints, Seahawks, Bills, Lions, Falcons, and the Cowboys. Second half of the doubleheader, battling the Browns, or you might see Panthers taking on LT and the Chargers, Cardinals, 49ers as well. Coverage will all begin next Sunday for Drive 1 pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, in high definition only on Fox. 21 snaps, 2 yards a snap so far, 45 yards, and a good run by Johnson. Good vision by Johnson, taking people with him for a first down. Boy, did it. First 4 or 5, a great hole at the line, but then he started carrying guys.
You know who he reminds me of a little bit with the hair is Lawrence Maroney. You know, I mean, he's got the hair flowing, a big, powerful kid. Steven Jackson.
Right, Steven Jackson,
that type of guy. You know, he's got the flowing locks, and he's got the just turning those legs and getting everything out of the run that he possibly can.
Manny Ramirez. Oh, that's right, run score.
Are those? Is that real hair, or do you think it's those extensions?
From the 34, I'm not going there with you. You're a sick person for bringing it up. Johnson making a miss, gets into the secondary. For a big guy, he's got great feet. And he's inside the 45. The Rams alive and well at the 42 of the Buffaloes.
I'll tell you, he has some little bit of swivel hip make you miss to him. Just enough elusiveness. And he took the safety, Walter, who's a very sure tackler for Colorado. And Walter, whoop, no way, open field, miss right there. He had him going 2 ways at once, and you can't do that. Your upper body can't go one way, your lower body enough. With a little bit of rain on the field, Walters found himself on the turf.
Yeah, but look at the lower half of Gartrell Johnson's body.
He's put together now.
Man, 6 even, 225 pounds.
Hard to wrap up and take that big boot to the ground.
Ferris, the quick count that time. Here comes he, and he's down again. Second sack of the game. Nicholas cleaned up, but he wasn't the primary. Instead, it was Marquez Herod, the sophomore out of Escondido, California.
And Herod, just a real good speed rush off the edge. Watch him come off the edge. He's the one that's going to get at the quarterback's feet. Just beats the tackle, shrinks the pocket, and now, whoa, Nicholas cleans up top. That's a free shot. That's a dangerous play for the quarterback. Herod gets the edge and wraps him up, and Nicholas takes the pop up top.
It's a loss of 8, almost 9. After the big play by Johnson.
Nowhere to go with the football. Got to throw it.
Pocket protection better underneath Paunga. And lassoed right after the grab. Brad Jones, strong side backer. He wouldn't let go, would he?
No. He was holding on for dear life, but he was trying to grab a shot put with legs. I mean, all there is a pectoral and quadriceps. I mean, low center of gravity and real thick at that fullback position. There's nothing to grab onto. Man, these running backs for Colorado State, they're hard to wrap up. And he's hard to wrap up, too. He looks like he's not happy either. Smile a little bit. He's down 14. He's aggravated.
You would be too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy.
3rd and long. Just across the midfield stripe for the Rams. And dead ball foul on held with it.
Early movement. Colorado State jumpy up front now. Colorado's getting a good rush. Good getting off the ball quickly.
Before the snap, false start, 78 offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's what happens when you get beaten on the edge to the quarterback, Joel. You start moving your feet too quickly.
And Colorado has already gone past their average. They only averaged 1.6 sacks per game last year. They couldn't get to the quarterback.
And another thing, they only had 65 penalties all year last year. They were tied for fewest penalties in the Mountain West Conference. They did not self-destruct by penalty. Tonight, they're starting to have a few.
So now it's going to be 3rd and better than 20.
Not where you want to be.
Especially with a guy making his first career start for you in Billy Ferris. Just trying to get some yards with Johnson. Not a bad idea, they did for the punter. Let's see if the snaps are a little bit lower for Hart this time as he takes it down to the 45.
Exactly, Joel. Steve Fairchild, been a coordinator for a long time at the collegiate and pro level. Right now, 3rd and 20, draw or screen. Get some of the yards back, play field position. Hope that your punter can pin Colorado inside the 10-yard line. The defense holds up, and you get a short field back again for your offense. Start playing a little field position.
Josh Smith, the sophomore from the Valley, Moore Park, California. Back at the 5. Try to pooch it, but it was a line drive into the end zone. Didn't go towards the corner.
That's not going to work.
So break for the Buffaloes. And they're already up by 14 when we come back over their arch rivals, the Rams of Colorado State. Looking back on the Rocky Mountain Showdown in 2004, it was at Folsom Field in Boulder. 17-0 was the deficit, but Colorado State rallied all the way back, only to see Mason Crosby hit a 56-yard field goal. And then after he gives them the lead on the Rams' next play, trying to get it back, Brian Ewu, you remember the linebacker, picked it off, intercepting a Jason Hodden pass, returned to 37 yards. Colorado won it. 23-20. That's looking back on the Centennial Series back. There's a huge hole up the middle. Stewart getting into the game. His first career carry. A bold one for Rodney Stewart, the little red true freshman from Westerville, Ohio at 5'6", 175.
5'6", 175, but this little guy benches 380, and he puts up 225 pounds, 22 reps. He is just one powerful human being. Low center of gravity, hides behind those offensive linemen, and he's sudden.
Now you saw in the series history there how close they have been over the last 5. And it's up for grabs, intercepted. Hurenick's got the pick on the deflection. The Rams are back in business inside the 25 to 24. They wanted the middle screen. They didn't get it.
No, they didn't get it. I tell you, I don't know exactly who got their hand on it. I think it might have been Johnson, but Hurenick came up with the football, but I think Johnson, the linebacker, our defensive tackle, got his hand on it and knocked it airborne. One thing Cody Hawkins wanted to stay away from was the interceptions, but these tipped interceptions are tough. And it was 33, got his hand, Johnson got his hand on the ball, and Hurenick made the catch off the deflection. That's a tough one on the quarterback, but it is in the books. That's a first turnover of the game, although the high snap, given the ball 5-yard line short field, is equivalent to a turnover as well.
Now Ferris has a single. It's Kyle Bell. Can they pound it? Get it going on the ground. Bell following the lead. And it was a nice one over to the right side. It's about 4 inside the 21. So they better capitalize because all the momentum has belonged to Colorado. We're halfway through the second quarter, a 14-0 lead for the Buffaloes, and this is the guy that they can play ball control with.
And Joel, as we approach the red zone, 21-yard line, Sperry has to be more of a factor. You know, run it or play it, then play action to your tight end. You get mismatches with your tight end in the red zone.
Yeah, Colorado State needs a timeout, and we will do the same. But let's see when we come back if they find Sperry in the red zone. Colorado State trying to get to the board for the first time when we return to Mile High. Opportunity coming up for Colorado State off a turnover. Now can they get points? Well, last year in this game, Kyle Bell was the story for the Rams. So far today, Gartrell Johnson, a tailback.
And Joel, talk about a guy finishing runs. Woo! Lower the pads, and you be the hitter, not the hittee. And then in space, woo! Make Walters miss. I mean, the guy has shown the ability to power between the tackles. Again, lower the shoulder pads and dump. Finish the run. Get every single thing you can out of the run. And again, love your hair, man.
Yeah, Dave, isn't he the classic BYOB? Be your own blocker?
Bring your own blocker, and he is bringing his own blocker.
Right now, Bell stays in the backfield. Ferris out of the gun on second and a long 6, almost 7. Pocket holds up better this time. Middle of the end zone, wide open. Deion Morton, touchdown, Colorado State.
Big to get back in this football game to answer. Both teams have now scored with short field. One off a turnover, one off of a botched punt. So now it's even Steven in that department. Huge for Colorado State to take advantage.
Freshman Ben DeLine, his first point after his first placement as a Ram. The true freshman whose dad, Steve, kicked for Colorado State. His uncle, that's another story because he was a Buffalo and he was kicking for Colorado.
I'll tell you, Ferris does a great job, surveys the field, stays with Morton. Morton beats Double coverage to the back line of the end zone.
Dion Morton on the receiving end. Great pocket protection as the junior from Riverside, California. Got a perfect strike. Billy Ferris got it out of the way. And now they're going to keep it in the ground to line.
Get it wet. Get it wet.
It'll be picked up by Josh Smith. Making a miss up the middle. Needs a block on the kicker, and he is gone.
See ya.
Josh Smith going the distance for Colorado.
That's his first college touchdown. Josh Smith had never scored a touchdown until right there. What an answer, Joel. What an answer to Colorado State. Coming back and making it a one-score game. Josh Smith says, not for long. And this is an explosive football player. Once you get in space, see you later.
Special teams aren't important, are they?
Yeah.
They basically have 14 points on specials. Kick by the line is perfect. And I bring up 14 points because don't forget the high snap on the punt put him at the 5.
Okay, now getting the ball wet. He bobbles it a little bit, but now he goes north and south. He says, I'm hitting that wedge in a heartbeat. He's a straight line runner now. Now he's in open field, and he's saying, I got golden goalposts. Nobody's touching me now. See you later. Just an unbelievable effort by Josh Smith. And at first, when you have to play the ground ball, he's thinking, oh man, I botched it a little bit. And watch everybody stay patient and watch the wedge. They're all have their eyes on people. And they're all gonna pick blocks up and get their hats on, folks. Sort it out. And Josh Smith hits it going 100,000 miles an hour, and nobody's gonna catch him. See you later. That's just good execution. Now, on the other side of it, Colorado State, Joel, they get out of their coverage lanes. You cannot get out of your coverage lane. If you get out of your lane, you get gashed, just like Josh Smith did to you right there.
And let's not forget, as we look at this young man, Josh Smith, not only a great talent in his own right, but he's a great recruiter.
Yeah, that's right.
Daryl Scott.
It's a family affair.
And a lot of people thought he was going to Texas, but Daryl Scott ended up at Colorado because he wanted to play with his relative, his uncle, Josh Smith.
And Josh Smith said, I'm going to show my nephew that I can score, because he had not scored a college touchdown. He averaged almost 20 yards a play last year. I mean, he's a big-time playmaker, but he hadn't put it in the end zone. Well, that's over. He put it in the end zone that time. He put it in the end zone in a big way. You know, Colorado State had achieved a little bit of momentum. Colorado just took it right now.
This time, a high one. And it's going to be taken by Mosier. Mosier's got a lane past the 25. Breaks the tackle. Look out. Will this be the answer? Mosier is gone. Inside the 15. Colorado State comes up with an answer.
Wow.
Do you believe it?
No. Mosier says to Josh Smith, anything you can do, I can do better. I mean, I've not seen that. I've not seen back-to-back kickoff returns, you know, I don't know how long. I don't think I've ever seen it even in high school.
It's Colorado State. Why are you surprised?
Yeah, expect the unexpected. Man, that shivers.
The line for the point after.
You know, you got to give Colorado State a lot of credit. They could have gotten their daughters down. They said, no, we'll come up and we'll block. They got Colorado State out of their lanes a little bit, a couple of missed tackles, and off to the races. And Mosier says, nobody's catching me. Just an incredible effort by Colorado State's kickoff return team to say, okay, we got to do something. And watch them form the wedge. And watch them come up the football field and give him a cavity. Missed tackle, bad angle. You got to get your helmet in front, head across the bow. Once that tackle was missed, Mosier said, you guys aren't catching me. I'm taking it to the house. Unrealism.
So the sophomore from Miami, Josh Mosier, and now John Mosier gets that one 90 yards. Josh Smith says, well, I had a break. I'm ready again.
Now, do they kick away from Josh Smith? I would kick away from him.
And what about, I don't know if I keep it on the ground anymore.
Yeah, I would,
my unit didn't at least set up that well.
I would definitely kick away from him. You know,
that's what you've got to be thinking if you're Steve Fairchild.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who is it? Sumler is the other return guy back there, and Sumler's a good return man. But I'd test him. Smith's shown me enough. I'd kick away from him.
The line going high this time and gets into it. Smith about 5-6 yards deep wants to bring it back. Smith coming up the middle and pulled down across the 20. Well, Colorado State on the coverage, and it was Jake Galusha made sure he wasn't doing it this time, the senior from Omaha.
Joel, it was a scoreless first quarter, and there have been 35 points put on the board in a little over half of the second quarter. Of course, you know, when you have back-to-back kickoff return touchdowns, those points start rolling now.
Let's head downstairs. Noxio for the latest.
All right, Joel, I tell you what, John Mosher needs oxygen after that kickoff return. Colorado on the other sidelines right after they were celebrating. They were totally deflated. The momentum right now, Colorado State, but guys, hold on, that could change in a matter of one play.
No doubt.
Last time Cody Hawkins was out there, he was picked off on a deflection, trying to set up a middle screen. Gives it off now. Little running back Rodney Stewart. Good yardage, but he pays for it at the end of the play. He was sandwiched at about the 27, a game close to 7. They call him Speedy. He's been the surprise of the preseason camp.
They were recruiting a linebacker that he played high school football with. And he was a guy that was a Mid-American Conference guy. Everybody was unsure of him because of his size at 5'7", a little smaller. I'll tell you, he plays large. The bench is 380 and puts up 2 1/4, 22 reps. That's a man, maybe a shorter man, but he's all man.
Yeah, but they have Bieniemy. We've seen Spoles at Kansas State. We've seen plenty of guys. Here he comes again. Takes the hit and takes the lick and keeps on going. Across the 35, Rodney Stewart showing his toughness out to the 38.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, you know, there's a low center of gravity. I mean, that linebacker comes downhill, tries to put as big a hit on him as he possibly can, and he just bounces off it like, you know, like he wasn't phased whatsoever. I mean, that's just John Clark put a lick on him, and Stewart said, no problem.
I've already seen Sumler, Darryl Scott, and now the snap getting away from the Hawkins. Going towards McKnight and did a good job just to get rid of it on first down.
Yep.
Well, we talked about the moisture. It's been raining. Slick field. And it nearly was another turnover. We'll save up to 70% on brand name products every day. Overstock.com. You're at home with the O. Calling the play at the line. We talked to them going no huddle. It's at the 38 where it's a 2nd and 10 for the Buffaloes. Leading by only 7. They have been up by 14 at 14-0 and 21-7.
Timeout, Colorado State.
So the Rams use their 2nd timeout of the first half. And make it their 3rd. They're out now. We talked about how closely his games have been as we look back now on the Rocky Mountain Showdown in 2005. And it was in Boulder, Folsom Field, where it's going to be next year. Actually, we're looking at 2007 last year. I was told 2005, but it was Sperry, and then it was Bell. Set things up somewhere, and then a 2-point conversion, 3-point game. Now Eberhardt will try to tie it. 22 seconds left in regulation. He does that. And don't forget, as Eberhardt goes to win it here from 35 in overtime, it was all set up by a guy that went in the 2nd round of the NFL draft. Terrence Wheatley picked it off in overtime, spoiling any chances Colorado State was going to have.
Wheatley drafted by the Patriots in round number 2.
From the 37, it's going to be 2nd and 10. Little bubble screen action. Man, can't make him miss too often. Out on the edge, it was Patrick Williams with his first grab of the game, the senior from DeSoto, Texas.
Nice tackle by Galusha. You know, I tell you, Colorado State is doing a good job defensively of rallying to the football. And, you know, a guy that everybody in college football has a lot of respect for, Larry Kerr, their defensive coordinator, has these guys playing at a very, very frenzied high level.
Final 5 minutes. A wild half. Hawkins with the pocket holding up. Available. And he just went to. He's got a first down inside the 45. A stop and a comeback pattern for Patrick Williams.
Patrick Williams, Joel, is as hard a worker as there is in this football team. He's the first guy to practice, the last guy to leave. Former quarterback, so he understands settling into zones. And he found the soft spot in the zone, caught it, immediately turned his shoulder pads up the football field, squared up, and got yards after catch.
There's Larry Curry talking about the defensive coordinator.
He didn't like giving up that soft spot in that zone.
Number 44. Drive still alive for Cody Hawkins. It's Williams all of a sudden with his third consecutive catch. That's no gain on the reception, though. Williams out of the same high school in DeSoto, Texas, gave the Big 12. Exceptional running back Tatum Bell.
Right. And, you know, he's been around. He's had 3 different quarterbacks, 3 different position coaches. So, I mean, he's gone through a lot. And he's a leader of this football team. Another fifth-year player that they really respect.
Inside of 3:40 to play. Someone changing directions well. And put down inside the 40. Dropped down by Pagnotta, the strong safety. Otherwise, it could have been a big gain. Instead, just about 5. It'll be 3rd and 5 from there.
Now, do you start thinking ahead here? Okay, 3rd down. Depending on what happens here on 3rd down, could be a moot point if you convert. If you're a little short, I think it's 4-down territory. I don't think that you mess with a long field goal in this situation with a wet field a little bit. We've seen what can happen with snaps.
Showing right now only a 3-man rush on Cody Hawkins, and it stays that way. He's got time. And going low, Scotty McKnight, and they say no, he trapped it. Lost it going down. He was right at the marker. So decision, downwind.
Yeah, now it's like, okay, this field goal would be massive. I mean, it'd be like a 57-yard field goal. Do you punt and play field position, Coach Hawk? Or do you say you can generate the 1st down and try to put points on the board? Looking at the clock, 3 minutes and 2 seconds to play. Cody Hawkins just a little bit low on that throw, and it splits the hands of Scotty McKnight. Did he get his hands underneath it? They're reviewing this. Did he get his hands underneath it and secure the football? On the field, they ruled incomplete. Is there indisputable evidence to overturn that? You can see how slick it is, though. They were sliding away. As Scotty McKnight went to his knees, the momentum of the route just kept him sliding away with the football before contact by the defender.
Yeah, it looked like it crawled through. The way he put his legs together, like he was trying to cradle it before it hit the ground.
And again, that football, once it gets just a little bit wet, that's when the pig is the slickest. I mean, that's when it can take the crazy bounces on you. Cody Hawkins trying to just put the transfer. I'll tell you, he got smacked in the face mask a couple of times there. If you're going to call it his 15-yard face mask, there's no more 5-yard face mask, but defensive lineman got up in there and grabbed his grill a little bit. Is that enough evidence to overturn it? I think they stay with the call on the field. The call on the field is critical here. And I think they're going to stay with the call.
Stands is called on the field.
And while we have a chance, we want to send out our very best Colorado Buffalo legend. Our head coach from 67 to 73, athletic director in 1984, and a guy who hired Bill McCartney, a real good move back in '82, replacing Chuck Fairbanks. Chuck was headed to the NFL, and our very best wishes to Eddie Crowder, recovering right now.
You talk about an icon, Joel. That's an icon.
So our best to Coach Crowder, getting better every day, which is the best news.
He made college football a better game.
We'll go for it on 4th and about 6. Here comes the heat. Hawkins has his 1st down. Going to his tight end, Devaney, for the first time, the junior from Roseville, California.
Devaney knew that he had the 1st down, or he felt pretty sure that the route would take him past the sticks, but he also got it right here in the slot, going to run the route. He also got yards after catch with that big body. Drags the defender for another 2 or 3 yards. Big body guy that catches the football very easily. You have a size ratio there that was taken advantage of by Devaney big time. Kubiak couldn't hang in there.
Believe it or not, neither team has converted on 3rd down yet in this game. But that's a 4th down conversion for Colorado. Gonna be the little guy Stewart. Ran up the back of his own blocker, locks the football. It's loose on the ground and covered. Picking it up. Colorado State's got it. It's the linebacker who came up with it, Galusha.
Ball security. Turnovers are huge. Now, in college football, they called it a fumble, was it an immediate recovery. Did the ball come out? Ball
Yes.
definitely came out, Stuart. And does Galusha come up with it right away? Yes, he does. So that call will stand. It was definite fumble, and a defender came up with the football immediately, if not sooner. That call stands.
Rams out of timeouts, have it 1st and 10 at their own 27. Ton of time, though, with 2:27 or 2:25 remaining in the half. Little swing action. Johnson pushed out of bounds on the far side. Short game as he goes out at about the 31, gain of 4.
You know, Joel Klatt, during the course of the week, quarterback here at Colorado, when we were talking about this football game, made a great point. He said, if Colorado State turns the football over first, it could get out of hand for them. If Colorado turns it over first, it could be a good football game. And really, Colorado State had the punting problem that made it a 14-point game, but now Colorado's given up 2 turnovers. They're behind in the turnover ratio, and it's keeping it a good football game, close game for Colorado State.
Johnson, nice lead block. Bowls his way across the 35, short of the first down by a yard to the 36. Tough runner. And when you talk about Joel Klatt, what great memories Buffalo fans have of Joel Klatt and his matchup back in 2003 against Colorado State, throwing for 402 yards and 4 TDs in a 42-35 Colorado win. So when I mentioned those numbers, Dave, immediately think it had to be a blowout. But it wasn't. It was only a 7-point win for Colorado. That's how good this game is every year. Johnson needs a yard. Gotta believe he's going to get it from Ferris. Although, looks like a check at the line. Johnson, he's got it. Took a couple of hits, but hangs on to it. Boy, he is truly a battering ram out of Colorado State. Up to the 39.
I'm impressed with him. 6 feet tall, low center of gravity, 225 well-packed pounds. And Sperry, now we know his receiving ability. He's going to try to seal the edge, and he did. He got the edge sealed. Get up to that next level. Once you know you have the edge sealed, get up to that linebacker level, see if you can pick somebody else off. Nice job by Sperry on the perimeter.
Now, clock an issue for Colorado State from the 39 with the first down. Ferris with a ton of time. Over the middle, Deion Morton. That'll stop it in the first down of the movement of the chains inside the 42.
You can see Ferris's confidence growing, Joel. He's going to spike the football. He's going to stop the clock by spiking the football here. The clock stopped until they set the chains. Now he's going to spike it. Remember, in the final 2 minutes of the half, once they move the chains, with that new clock thing, the clock doesn't start again until the snap of the football.
Let's head down to the sideline. Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Joe. Coming up at halftime, we'll join the College Football Saturday studio. John Radigan, Pat Jones, Corby Chunks. I'll take a look at first half highlights, also final score, and the year of the Big 12 quarterback. Lappy, these guys are crazy. I'm out of here.
I hear you, Knoxy. Get out while the getting's good, man.
I thought he fit in pretty well. He looked good there. Jim looks at Young.
There's a fraternity party going on.
Front of the 42, 2nd and 10 for the Rams. Down by only 7. Middle of the field. Morton can't hang on. Wanted to run with it before he had it.
You can see the confidence level growing, though, on a snap-by-snap basis for Ferris. I mean, early in the game, I thought he was hesitant and apprehensive pulling the trigger. I thought he was holding the ball too long. He was getting decent protection, but just wanted to see a little bit more separation before he cut loose. Now, he feels more confidence, and he's cutting loose before his receivers actually get their head back around. And I think he's really executing the passing game much higher level right now.
He's now 11 of 16 after the clock. Should be 12 of 16 after that pass. 87 yards and a score. Big third down. Can he get it? No, it's picked off going the other way. And it's Ryan Walters. Ryan Walters across the midfield stripe for Colorado with the interception.
Yeah, that time he threw it behind Greer, and Greer tried to plant to come back on the football, and Greer just slipped and fell right down. And when Greer went down, he couldn't even reverse rolls and play defensive back. Whoops, there goes Greer down on the turf. Easy pick for Walters, because the receiver can't even do anything to try to make sure that Walters doesn't come up with the possession. So Ferris that time throwing it behind his receiver a little bit.
Now decision now for Colorado from the 49. 16 seconds left, and they do have timeouts remaining. In fact, all 3 of their timeouts left.
Ferris and Greer, you saw on
Too
the
many
side.
men on the huddle.
Yeah, that's going to cost him. Illegal.
Breaking the sideline huddle with 12 players. It's a 5-yard penalty, first down.
Illegal participation deal, breaking the sideline with 12. You saw Ferris and Greer talking in the sideline. Ferris was expecting Greer to run his route a little differently than he did. And Greer was telling him why he ran the route flatter on his cut. So they were on a different page, and it cost him dearly. Walters made him pay.
Got a single on Josh Smith. Here comes the heat on Hawkins. It's Sumler. He's going nowhere. And then they do it for the half. They may let it just run out now. With 7 seconds left. No. Cody Hawkins called a timeout.
Timeout, Colorado. That's their first charge timeout of the half.
Tip drill time.
Yeah, is it going to be the old Hail Mary? And see
30-second timeout.
See if she's full of grace or not. But this is the kind of time, though, where a quarterback can be charged with interception that all you're doing is putting it airborne. It's a jump ball for everybody.
Well, a point of emphasis for Cody Hawkins during the offseason was cutting down on the turnovers. He had 22 touchdown passes last year, including the bowl game, with 17 interceptions. Throw in a few fumbles that he committed, and everybody says he just needs to clean it up. He had that good a freshman year, but he's got to cut down on the turnovers.
He had 14 interceptions the first 8 games, only won the last 4 regular season games.
Now, final snap. It should be at the half. And Hawkins will throw it away. That'll do it. There was a second up on the clock. It's the goose eggs now. So they appeal to John Bible. But a wild first half with back-to-back scores included, David.
You know, you watch enough football, you see something you've never seen before. Josh Smith says, I'm going to the house. And he does. Bobbles the ground ball kickoff a little bit, but then when he hits the wedge, he is going full speed. Colorado State answers immediately. And there's, you know, instead of getting their daubers down, they come right back with Mosier, taking it to the house, showing some wheels himself.
So 93 and 90-yard returns. We head downstairs to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Joel. Coach, you got to be pleased. Your offense is getting close to 7 yards per carry. But I tell you what, momentum back and forth. You ever seen anything like back-to-back kickoff returns?
Turnovers, you know, we've had a couple big plays on both ends. A good game, we knew it would be.
What are you going to tell your team at half?
Same thing, we just got to clean up a couple plays, get it going. You know, we had a couple turnovers, got to hang on the ball. Same thing, first game, every first game you see special teams turnovers, every game.
I appreciate it, Coach. Coming up after the break, we head to our College Football Saturday studios and join John Radican, Corby Jones, and Pat Jones right after this quick timeout.
What kind of player is Cody Hawkins? As a starting quarterback, Cody did not lose a football game in over 7 years. At CU, he set every major passing record for a freshman and became the only freshman quarterback to beat both Oklahoma and Nebraska in the same year. What's next for young Hawkins? Find out on Saturday, September 6th when the Buffs take on Eastern Washington. Get 4 tickets for $40, available only at cubus.com. In 2008, vote Colorado football.
I'm Cody Hawkins, and I approve this message.
It's the kind of second quarter that can leave you downright winded. I'm out of breath and I'm not in the mile-high atmosphere, and I'm watching the thing on TV, but it was a wild second quarter and quite a wild first half, all in all. Welcome into the College Football Saturday studios. Colorado out in front by a touchdown over Colorado State in a rivalry game. John Radigan and Pat Jones with Corby Jones in here. No relation in the College Football Saturday studios. It is a Sunday night edition of College Football Saturday. Coach, we start with you. You know, Colorado State always plays Colorado tough, and tonight is no exception.
Colorado State has not backed down one bit. Colorado State has not gone away, and we got a wild one going on, guys.
We do indeed. Cody Hawkins has completed 11 balls at this point at halftime, Corby, and 4 of them to Scotty McKnight. Maybe that shouldn't surprise us, including the touchdown.
It definitely shouldn't surprise us, guys. 2006, these guys are redshirt freshmen together. They kind of hang out. They get comfortable with one another, scout team every day, throwing the ball back and forth, drawing up plays in the dirt, trying to give the defense the best look they can. And now, the natural progression of things is once they start playing, this guy's their favorite guy. They've got a connection.
Yeah, they did pretty well. And now what does Colorado State have to do to stay or maybe get further into this game?
Well, again, what we've seen, just like throughout the college football on these early playing dates, huge plays in the kicking game. There was a mishandled punt. There were 2 consecutive kickoff returns that went on. Avoid some big crucial mistake in here and just keep on playing. They're very much in this ball game.
Lots more coming up. We're going to head to the LA studios, get a preview of what's coming from them, and when we come back, we'll take a look at what surprised us about yesterday in the Big 12. Stay with us.
This is a special Sunday edition of College Football Saturday. They turned up the temperature dramatically after a scoreless first quarter in Denver. Colorado now leads Colorado State 21-14. We now bring you inside our Final Score studios. Hope you're enjoying the game so far, everybody. Welcome to this Final Score update. I'm Barry LeBras. There were a couple other games going on in college football today, highlighted by that annual battle for the Bluegrass State. Kentucky and Louisville playing for the Governor's Cup. Pick this one up in the fourth quarter. Kentucky defense dominating. They're up 20-2. The fumble here. Look at big Myron Pryor. Picks up the ball 72 yards later. He'll be in the end zone. 310 pounds of solid soul, and he's got himself a touchdown. Kentucky beats Louisville 27-2 in the Governor's Cup. Jackson State, Walter Payton's alma mater, taking on Hampton in the SWAC-MEAC Challenge. First quarter, Trey Rutland escaping the pressure. He's got his man Rodney Gray in the end zone. Jackson State up 7-0 early. Fourth quarter now, Hampton up 10-7. Herbert Fines finding Jeremy Gilchrist in the end zone. 12-yard touchdown there. Hampton a winner, 17-13 over Jackson State. Hey, don't forget, for all of today's sports highlights, be sure to check out the Final Score. A full day in baseball, including another sparkling gem from CC Sabathia and a complete wrap-up of the day at the U.S. Open. That's the Final Score right after Colorado and Colorado State.
Wild first half in Denver, Colorado, one that featured back-to-back kickoff returns and a 21-14 game right now. Colorado and Colorado State just about ready to start the second half. Happy Labor Day to one and all. It is Labor Day weekend, and it's a Sunday night edition of College Football Saturday. You've got to love the opening week of the college football season. Colt McCoy sure did. We're dubbing this the year of the quarterback in the Big 12, and Colt McCoy sets a very high bar yesterday. Completes 83% or almost 83% of his passes, Corby Jones. He throws for 3 touchdown passes. He rushes for 100+. This guy's set a real high bar.
He definitely did. Colt McCoy started the game 13 of 13, which may be the most impressive stat that you can come up with on his stat line. I mean, I don't care who you're playing against. This guy does some things that, I mean, not many people can do. If you're playing against Air, 13 for 13 is pretty impressive. The other Big 12 quarterbacks, at least the elite quarterbacks, followed suit, though. Graham Harrell throws for 536. Chase Daniel was Chase Daniel. And
don't forget our man Sam Bradford.
Sure.
You know, OU unveiled their strain of the no huddle up there, even though it was against Chattanooga. Bradford handled it extremely well, and we got a new guy. We got Robert Griffin from Baylor, the world-class hurdler who lit it up the other night. Now they put him in. This guy only came in out of high school a semester early and proceeded to win the 400-meter hurdles in the Big 12, essentially as a high school senior. We can see his skill level right here. He continues to stay healthy, keep his head screwed on right, and this guy's joined a real elite company of quarterbacks.
Yeah, it may be the 4 years of the quarterback for this kid, but certainly he's not a guy we figured we'd be talking about in the year of the quarterback, but already off to a pretty nice start down there in Waco. All right, lots more coming up next week. Don't forget, week 2 of the college season, and we've got all kinds of action for you. The kickoff show 2:30, then BYU in Washington, La Tech in Kansas at 7 Eastern. We're going to send you back out to Colorado now for the second half. Enjoy it.
College Football Saturday continues from Invesco at Mile High. 35 points on the board at the half. And our life would not be complete without a dead-out sprint from Ralphie and, well, his faithful sidekick, Jim Knox.
Knoxie's going to smoke him. Look at him.
I got a score here. Yeah. Tottenham. No problem. Oh, yeah. Right there. Huh? We're just having a little back pedal in here.
I like it. A little back pedal for Knoxie. My man smoked him.
He does his best work moonwalking away from Ralphie, doesn't he? But it was a scoreless first 15 minutes of play. Believe it or not, it turned out to be a wild second 15. Big play second 15 minutes. 35 points on the board, and back-to-back big plays from the special teams. But Gartrell Johnson, he stole the spotlight in the first half for Colorado State. And Cody Hawkins got it going, but he's got to cut down on the turnovers.
No question, Joe. And Johnson, they controlled the clock because of Johnson. He averaged over 8 yards a carry. You see him pounding it between the tackles. Then you see him make Walters miss in space. So Johnson was doing all. And that set up the deep ball. Because touchdown pass to Morton, because of the running game got going, brought Colorado close to the line of scrimmage, threw it over their heads. And this is something that you've seen before. Hawkins to McKnight to the sideline. Then you go over the top. Linebacker doesn't get deep enough drop. Split the safeties. Hawkins to McKnight for a touchdown. Going to have a little bit more of that. And like Coach Hawkins said at halftime, as he was going to the locker room at halftime, have to stay away from the turnovers, Joel.
Well, Colorado State came into the game and they wanted to play keep away, and for the most part, they did hang on to the football. They had 6 more minutes in time of possession. And they did not turn the ball over like Colorado did. Colorado could have had more, in fact. They fumbled it away 3 times, but only one of them cost them.
Look at those third downs, Joel. 1 of 7, 1 of 4. Nobody getting it done on third down.
It'll be the line kicking it away. Sumner is going back deep with Josh Smith. Well, Smith already has his 93-yard return. This will be from the 10. Smith, huge lane again. Can he beat the line up the middle of the field? Just barely tripped up. Touchdown, saving tackle for Colorado State. And coming up with a big play, Ivory Hurd.
Okay, Joel, the reason this is happening, you see Clark getting up slowly. The reason this is happening, and Coach Hawkins talked about it going in the locker room at halftime, you don't scrimmage your special teams. This is the first time both teams have tried to bring people to the ground, have tried to tackle, and they're not doing a good job of tackling. They're not staying in their coverage lanes, and they're not bringing people to the ground, wrapping them up. They're just hitting them and hoping they fall to the ground. First, second game of the season, special teams are always problematic, and tonight, both kickoff coverage teams are having horrendous problems getting the return men on the turf.
Good to see Walters Amadeus getting up. The safety from Kyle, Texas. Well, looking back at the first half possessions, it started slowly for Colorado, and then quickly out to a 14-0 lead. It helped with a bad snap on the punt, and then that short field with 2 plays and a touchdown.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, another short field in plus territory, as the coaches say. The opposition side of the 50, Colorado, is going to have it at the 45 of Colorado State. It'll be Sumner wrapped up immediately off the edge. You got to believe that Sumner's a bigger back than a little guy. A nice play out on the edge, but with the speed back, Stewart haven't been able to get through there. With the backside, where he's not been able to get to it.
Well, the keys for Colorado, you win the line of scrimmage. Rushing game's pretty much even, Steven. Both teams averaging a big yards per carry, and they've done a good job containing Sperry. I don't think they've really gone to Sperry as much because Colorado's doubled.
It's only a 3-man rush. A lot of room to roam for Cody Hawkins. Yeah. Shot down at the 40. Looked like he was going to be able to get more. He'll be shy of that. They say the knee was down at the 41, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and a half dozen.
Now, I think that in the first week of the season, the thing that you have to make sure that you try to avoid are the critical turnovers and the big plays in special teams. Both teams suffered by them in the second quarter tonight.
So 3rd, close to 6. Hawkins underneath, securing it is tied in. Vilveni's second grab of the game, and boy, looks it in, doesn't he, Dave, the way he gets his hands out there?
Joel, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, this kid is the real deal. He's a converted quarterback, so he's obviously very athletic. He's got tremendous eye-hand coordination, soft, supple hands, and he just plucked this thing very easily out of the air and then just split the 2 defenders for some extra yards. And he's got some size to him, too, 6'3", 240-pound kid.
So on a first down, it's going to be a timeout call. Colorado State. Pat Connor real upset. The safety who made a good play originally on Sumner comes over to the sideline. Very vocal about he had to call a timeout. This special edition of College Football Saturday, all brought to you by Holiday Inn Express. Stay smart, stay at a Holiday Inn Express. And the first down marker brought to you by Overstock.com. Save time and fuel by shopping comfortably at home with Overstock.com. at home with the O. Joel Myers, Dave Lapham, Jim Knox. Ominous conditions still prevailing in Denver. As the Buffaloes short field got the great return from Josh Smith, almost another touchdown run on a kick return by Smith. Set it up at the 45. They've got a first down now at the 29 of Colorado State. Darryl Scott gets it. Breaks the original tackle. They get him low around the ankle. Matt Rupp wouldn't let go, the senior tackle. Laguna Beach, California. A 3 for Darryl Scott.
Cody Hawkins doing a good job, Joel, completing a high percentage, but the interception on the deflection, a little bit of a problem. Beautiful touchdown pass, though. Rodney Stewart, great yards per carry, but he had a critical fumble. Can't turn the ball over like that. Scotty McKnight is just reliable for Hawkins.
Going to be second and long. Scott again. Shooting it straight up the middle. Gang tackling Scott at the 23. So now it's going to be 3rd and 4.
They said one thing they wanted to use him for tonight, no matter what, was short yardage and goal line, because he's so explosive and he's got such a powerful body on him. And Coach Hawkins is definitely adamant about not forcing the issue with him. Let him get settled, let him get into his feet on the ground academically and socially, and not put the cart before the horse.
They get the first down on 3rd and 4. Just 2 of 5 of the 3rd down attempts so far in the contest. They bring the blitz out of the secondary. It opens things up over the middle. And a 1st and goal on the reception by Smith.
Well, as you called it, Joel, great protection by Colorado picking up the blitz. Look at them all coming, and they're picked up, and Smith does a good job. He wins his one-on-one matchup. When you blitz like that, you can't double cover. And on the perimeter, you have to win your one-on-one battle, and he did. And Josh Smith got a little bit after the catch as well. Nice job protecting the quarterback, and nice job winning on the edge.
So 1st and goal inside the 9, opening drive of the second half. Good play fake. Cody Hawkins, can he get it there? Hawkins belts it and put down. Sandwiched at the 1.
At the half. I mean, he's inside that one. He almost snowboarded in off the ball.
No huddle, David. Here they come to the line again very quickly. He got on a sneak, and he gets it again on a sneak. Touchdown, Colorado.
He almost body surfed a couple of people in the end zone, came up just a little bit short. Then the sneak finished it.
They did in the first half before Colorado State had even sucked defensively. A little bit better for the Rams, but it didn't make any difference.
And I think that's a good up-tempo tactic to use, particularly when you have Daniel Sanders at center, coming off that line of scrimmage. Yeah, they were a little bit more ready, but still, Colorado surged off that football. All the white jerseys with green helmets were going backwards.
Eric Goodman for the point after. So that's the way it begins, a 45-yard drive out of the hold of Scotty McKnight. And he hooked it, but he got it inside the upright. So a 2-touchdown lead. They matched their largest lead of the game on a touchdown run by Cody Hawkins. That's the way it begins with the second half for Colorado. Impressive beginning to the second half. Not for those guys, for the Buffaloes of Colorado. A touchdown drive to start it all off in the second 30 minutes of play.
That's
Colorado. I'm not going there. Leads by 14. The numbers that count are P-Top leaders. Well, 4th longest active streak in the nation. They're not going to get shut out in this one, of course. Colorado trying to keep up. Man, the last time they were shut out back in November of 1988, Ronald Reagan president, the Bill Cosby show. It was number 1. Mosher on the sideline. And out of bounds just past the 20. Near the 22. The last time they were shut out, Alex English, Denver Nuggets highest paid player. Now that is basically the veterans minimum in the NBA, 1.65.
Right.
And how about Oliver and Company? I know that was one of your favorite movies of all time.
It was. I loved it. I was a fan.
Colorado State. They'll put it at the 23 for the Rams.
I'm a fan of him, too. I think Cody Hawkins is a very, very intelligent football player.
See what kind of answer is. Bell is set up in the eye behind Colombo. Good pocket protection. And fullback trying to get away. Got to hang on to the football, did that because they were trying to scrape it away at the same time. That was Brad Jones, the strong side backer. It's a gain of about 2. That is all. Took a little more 3 minutes off the clock in that last Holiday Inn Express scoring drive.
Well, once again, special teams set it up. Short field to Josh Smith. And again, this is the first time the kickoff and punt teams have gone live. They don't go live against each other. The risk of injury is too high, so the sloppy tackling and out of lanes and coverage is the result of it.
Sperry is the motion man. They got to get him involved. Little end around action. It's Deion Morton trying to get blocks. Won't give that up. Walters coming out of the secondary doing an exceptional job.
Joel, there were 4 Colorado players at the football when Morton got to the point of attack. That's pretty good. And nobody was on the ground. Colorado all stayed on their feet, separated from blocks, and ran to the football. And 4 guys met right there. I mean, that's good inside-out pursuit. That's good recognition. That's good technique and doing your responsibilities. Everybody trusting each other.
Now 3rd and long. First down. Colorado State just 1 of 7 of the 3rd down tries. Sperry was in the slot. Come over to the near side, and it's available.
Nice.
Rayshawn Greer with the first down. Inside the 47 to the 46. Good route. The ball was in the air before he turned around.
Rayshawn Greer, this kid is an incredible athlete. He was 3rd in the conference in 110 high hurdles. So when he catches the football, the fun just begins. He's really good yards after catch. That's a pretty good throw. Over linebacker, front of defensive back, Ferris. Looks like he's about 6'4" instead of 6'3". He's just getting taller and confident in that pocket.
Ferris now 12 of 18 passing. Good ratio. And going for the bundle. Wide open, almost intercepted. Came late for Ryan Gardner. He was trying to get it there. The pick in and out of the hands of DJ Dykes. He was worried about the sideline too.
Both of these teams have solid safeties. They were questionable a little bit at cornerback in terms of inexperience, but the safeties have been around and they know what they're doing. And Dykes just reads the quarterback's eyes, pump fake, watch him break to the sideline and give support and coverage. They're double covering the receiver to the sideline, and he just could not quite secure the pin.
It was really impressive by Ferris, and Dykes staying with the play. He looked the opposite side, the other half of the field.
He did, but both safeties were rolling toward the edge.
Over the middle. It's complete on the first catch of the game for the junior from Fairfield, California. Ryan Gardner short of the first down to the 40. Another 3rd down, an important one in plus territory. Colorado side of the 50. And the possessions, David, over the first half of play for the Rams.
This one, again, was the critical one. They lost 20 yards on that play and gave Colorado the ball at the 5-yard line. And when they came back with a short field of their own on the takeaway. Of course, we're not showing the kickoff returns in those situations back and forth with each team. The last time back-to-back kickoff returns for touchdowns occurred, Joel, Baylor against Kansas last October 13th.
On 3rd and 4, the screen, forget it. They smelled that early, didn't they?
They did.
And the outside man was on top of it. McKay, the corner on that side. Young man from Southern California's Crenshaw High School.
Eric Josephson down on the truck doing the quick research about when the last time 2 kickoff returns happened back-to-back in the same game. And ironically, just a year ago, October 13th, Baylor, Kansas. And that was a little bit more surprising to me because it's further along into the season where special teams aren't as dicey as they are in the beginning of the season as we've seen tonight.
So the drive stalls that started back at their own 23. It stalls at the Colorado 43. Better job. Hart's got it out inside the 10. They'll spot it at the 7. So a very long field coming up for the Buffaloes. Ball security. There's a premium on that now for Colorado. Welcome back once again to Mile High in Denver. Joel Myers, Dave Lapp, and Jim Knox. 2-touchdown lead for Colorado as they get it back. And if you didn't see the first half, wild ones. Back-to-back, David.
Josh Smith takes it after the strategy was get it on the ground, get it a little bit slippery. He bobbled it first. Once he picked it up and saw a lane, CU later. Nobody's going to catch him. Then, you know, Colorado State, they could have gotten their daubers down and sulked a little bit. No, Mosher says, I can do the same thing. And he found a lane. And again, early in the season, games number 1, games number 2, guys get out of their lanes, guys don't finish tackles, and you can have those kind of big plays on special teams because they don't sprint.
Deep in their own territory. Driving it out across the 10. Darryl Scott hanging onto the football. So the true freshman out of St. Bonaventure High School in Ventura, California. One of the most highly sought after recruits in high school football last year.
Stewart did a lot of good things in the first half, averaged over 9 yards a carry. His negative, though, was dropped the football and cost a turnover, and Coach Hawk didn't like that at all.
They give him 4 up to the 11. Showing a blitz off the edge. They pick up the blitz, get the chip underneath. Trying to make a miss and doing a good job on the reception. Cantrell, his first touch of the game. The senior from Cedar Rapids. Time now for a free creditreport.com sideline report with Jim Knox.
Okay, thank you very much, Joel. Actually, it's an upper deck report. I tell you what, we need a little air after running with Ralphie on the 50-yard line. What a view! We got one Colorado State fan amongst all these Colorado fans, and Lappy, you would love this. I'm looking at the big hogs down on that offensive line, opening up some nice holes down there.
I hear you, Knoxy. Knoxy, you smoked Ralphie. Smoked him.
I was taunting Ralphie.
You were trash talking him.
Backpedaling.
On first down, going to Patrick Williams. And there's a flag at the end of the play, right in the interior, the middle of the line, and throwing his arms up in the air. It looked like Head. That's Devin Head, the left guard.
After the play, personal foul, 72 on the offense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Down counts, second down.
I don't know if he hit him up in the headgear or what Devin Head did at the conclusion of the play. It wasn't any kind of illegal chop block, or they didn't call a hold, but, oh, there it is. Just talking about spearing him.
Yeah, the back.
Yeah, when he went to the ground. Actually, a couple of Colorado Buffaloes were finished. You know what? To me, it's just finishing the block.
Nah, it's a good call. Unnecessary. Play is over.
No, I'm just kidding.
At the 8, it's going to be a first down.
Those guys can jump back up and make a play. Drill them. They'll drill you.
And it actually was a dead ball foul, so it is second down and a busted play. Flag on the play. The referee, right, nobody. They weren't in sync at all. Came back to Cody Hawkins before he was ready. So they're totally out of sync right now. The Buffaloes of Colorado, as he just ran it up across the 10.
You saw Cody talking to Sanders. There was a little bit of a snap.
Illegal motion, number 7 on the offense. Penalty is declined, third down.
And Cody Hawkins says, what? I wasn't moving. And
he stepped up.
Yeah, he was stepping up to basically communicate a change. And Sanders snapped the football, thinking that the next sound, I guess, was going to be the snap. And when Cody stepped up to communicate a little bit like he's doing right now, Sanders snapped the football. That's what they were talking about.
Well, they talked about taking care of the football, and that's what Colorado has to do now. Thinking about the delay, it's Hawkins instead. He wanted to wrap it around. And there was a breakdown in the backfield. He wanted to wrap it around to his running back, who wasn't prepared.
It was a slow draw. That's what we used to call the slow draw.
As Darryl Scott is true freshman.
And what you do there is when the quarterback goes by the running back, normally you forget about the running back because you think it's a pass, that he's going to be a blitz pickup guy. So he goes behind him, and then he doesn't take the football. So Cody Hawkins, being a smart guy, says, I'm going to keep it and run to the designed spot of the play. I'm going to hit the hole that Scott should have hit. So he tried to make something out of nothing.
Junior from Riverside, California. Deion Morton waits for it. Delano did a good job and then hangs out.
Yep.
A pretty decent one considering the high snap. Big time bounce for Colorado State. And now they've got the short field. Boy, we had some swings in this game. So the Rams have it at the Buffaloes 44, just when you thought it was safe. Well, it's a return to Pro Football Preview. Raising the bar for pregame shows, it's Sean Merriman. He's going to join Jay Glazer, Eddie George each week, give you the perspective only a current NFL player can give. Pro Football Preview. It returns Friday at 11.
Current pro player with 2 torn ligaments in his knee that's going to play anyway.
Gartrell Johnson, and they've alternated Johnson and Bell. Johnson had an exceptional first half. He's the I formation. And And on the delay, nice gap for Johnson. Into the secondary. He's got a first down to the 32. You wonder why he's not been out there more. That's his 10th carry for better than 85, 86 yards.
I'll tell you what, he hits it. He gets after it. I really like the way this kid finishes runs. And usually when you get a run like this, it happens on the edge. Everybody has to sustain their blocks. Sperry does a good job. Receiver on the perimeter does a good job. And Johnson, instead of picking up 3 or 4 yards, gashes it for more than a first down.
From the 32, it is a first down. The man in motion was the man who provided the good block, Dion Morton. That time, they rack up Gartrell Johnson. No gain on that carry. So we've got 5 minutes and counting left in the third quarter. Colorado State has got to start capitalizing on great field position like this series.
And just like they did in the first half, when they got the short field after the turnover, Joel, they threw that 21-yard touchdown pass to Morton. They're going to have to do that type of thing. Coach Fairchild acutely aware of that with his offensive coordinator background. He is still calling the plays. Pretty good quarterback in his own right is Coach Fairchild for the Colorado State Rams.
He's an outstanding quarterback. 78, 79, and 80 is their starter. Good looking southpaw. 2nd and 10. Ferris with the heat coming, goes to the bundle, wide open. He's got him in the end zone, and it gets away with a flag down. Over the shoulder was Greer trying to bring it in. Contact early.
Yeah, I think they grabbed Greer's arms, and it might have just come right off his helmet. It looked like he hit him right in the smush. Couldn't get his hands up for it. Looked like they were grabbing his arms.
Pass interference, 23 on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
See, I think that's
from Phoenix, Jaleel Brown.
I think that's smart. You know, if you think you're going to give up the touchdown, do the pass interference. Don't give the score up. And see if he wraps his. He does. He wraps his arms. It hits him right in the helmet. Hits him right off the top of the noggin because he couldn't get his hands up. As he grabs his hands, his arms, whoop, right off the beak. And Ferris says you got to call that. He thinks he's got a touchdown. Then he's like, oh man, I can't believe that hit his helmet. And then he realizes it's pass interference, but better to give that up than a touchdown.
17, it's a first down now for Colorado State. Little waggle action trying to get Sperry out on the edge. The completion short, only to the 15. So a gain of a couple. They have not been able to break that young man loose, have they?
And Joel, this is again where I think he's very valuable in the red zone. And they haven't gone to him very much in the first half. He had 1 catch, I think, for 8 yards. But this kid is a big target. 6'5", 6'6", 250 pounds.
He can run. Former high school quarterback. All-around athlete.
Again, recruited Division I basketball. A lot of Tony Gonzalez similarities.
2nd and 8 at the Buffalo's 15. Little pick play. Greer as Morton set the pick. Man, what a shot he took at the 10. Man, is Walter stacking him up tonight, isn't he? But there was a pick out on the edge, by the way.
Yeah, little wide receiver screen. Got to throw the block for him. Try to get him inside in the alley. Little bullet screen. Walters gets out there. Little naked bootleg action off of it as well. There's Walters delivering the big old thumb. Of course, another Colorado teammate had the legs, so it's easy to drill him like that when the legs are tied up.
How big a play is this?
Massive.
3rd and a little less than 3. Trailing by 14. It's huge for the Rams. They won't go to Johnson. Instead, out of the edge, it's complete, but short. Dion Morton on the check that. It's Paunga instead. And he's short of the first down by about a yard and a half.
Good hit, and they pick the blitz up. And Walter reads it and watch him make the hit. That's a very sure tackle. Once the catch was made, took him backwards. And that's a big old fullback now. And Walters, when he hit him, he jackknifed him backwards.
First career attempt for true freshman Ben DeLine out of Steamboat Springs. As we mentioned, his father Steve, former kicker for the Rams. First field goal attempt of this contest. It'll be a 26-yarder. On its way, and got it out of the way, didn't he?
Yeah,
perfect.
Kept it on DeLine.
So Ben DeLine with a 26-yarder. On the short field, at least the Rams come away with points after starting with the ball to the Buffalo's 44. Well, we've seen many deficits made up in a lot less time than this. So now a 28-17 game with 2:17 left in the third. There was a brief shower earlier, but it has turned out to be a spectacular night for football in Denver. Welcome back once again. They keep it away from Josh Smith over the head of Sumler and out of bounds. So finally, they go away from Smith. It took a while, didn't it?
It did. He had to prove himself, and he proved it more than once.
Well, Pete Stan is looking at the coaches poll, and among the top 15, you've got 5 Big 12 teams.
That's strong. No other conference has that many in the top 15. It's a pretty good statement right there.
Yeah, Missouri, a win over Illinois, but a very costly one. We'll find out what happened to Jeremy Macklin.
Yeah.
Ankle injury.
52 points, 52-42.
Yeah, but gave up their defense. It's got to get better than that.
Yeah,
if they're going to be a championship team.
The problem they had is if you give up a big play and it's a contested catch, but the big plays they gave up are guys running jailbreak.
Blitz coming off the edge. Hawkins goes away from it. And now just throws it away outside of the pocket. Good pressure in the face. It was Hrenek, the linebacker, all over Cody Hawkins.
Hrenek earlier was on the sideline getting some medical treatment because he had a little bit of a stinger. And they were working his hand and arm and shoulder and trying to get motion back in it. He's not going to sit this thing out. He'd have to have a bigger injury than that in this big rivalry. And that's exactly what this is. There's a lot of emotion in this football game, and it's very, very evident by the level of play on the field.
Buffalo's going no huddle. Middle of the field. Sent to crosses Williams going towards the marker. And let's see where they spot it. He's short by less than a yard. So Patrick Williams didn't touch him in the first half. He's featured now in the second half, but he's maybe cramping up.
Yep, he's cramping. They're going to have to work that right calf. And he gets in and out of his cut very well to the sideline. Makes a very sure-handed catch. And once he went to the sideline, he just cramped up big time. And they got 12 men in the field because he couldn't make his way off.
Well, false start.
Snap, false start, 75 offense. 5-yard penalty, same down.
That's the center.
Coach Hawkins is saying, hey, we have a guy that's trying to make his way off the field. He's cramping up. He's having an injury problem. He was offside. If anything, he's on the field to play on the Colorado State sideline, or the Colorado State side of the line of scrimmage, and they allowed him to snap the football. And he's walking like Chester. He's all cramped up.
Way too many penalties now for Colorado. That is their 8th. As they're up by 11. And a 3rd and 5. It's only 3 for Colorado State. 3 for 15. And now late sub as they get the tight end, Goveni, back on the field. He's had a couple of big catches on 3rd downs already for the Buffaloes.
There he is right there.
Scott stays in the backfield. Only a 3-man rush all day to throw. Goveni, I believe he's knocked out short. No, they put the ball on the 30, which means he's got the first down.
And he tried to stretch that thing out there with those long arms, get every inch that he could after the catch. Goveni's in the slot, runs a little, takes it to the sideline, a little crossing action, which a lot of times will pick a defender. That time the Colorado State guys unfolded well, but Goveni got enough separation to move the chains.
From the 30, a first down for the Buffaloes. Still leading by 11. And receiver goes down, Darryl Scott, and you can see Clint Kubiak, they just got tangled up.
Yeah.
The free safety, you could tell his frustration.
You got to call that, though.
Pass interference, number 20 on the defense. That's a spot foul,
he tackled
first
him.
down.
He put his hands around his waist. It wasn't like their feet tangled up. He put his hands around his waist and took him down.
You know, just good to see him healthy out there. His brother, the backup quarterback, a redshirt freshman. His father, one of the bright young head coaches in the NFL, Gary Kubiak with the Houston Texans.
Well, is he in a tough division? The AFC South. Whew.
How'd you like to be there with Indy, Jacksonville, Tennessee, and Vince Young?
Yep.
On the run, Cody Hawkins, Devaney popped and knocked backwards. Good coverage downfield once again, so it's going to bring up a 2nd and long. And time once again for a free creditreport.com sideline report with our man, Jim Knox.
All right, Joe, I tell you what, this could be a big one. Patrick Williams right now still trying to work that cramp out on the sidelines, the right calf. He's chug-a-lugging Gatorade down here, guys. But you know what? After the rain, a little bit of humidity on the field, that could be a factor.
Scott Belton. Man, he didn't know what hit him that time, did he?
No.
So, I don't think they had those kind of pops at St. Bonaventure in Ventura, California. It was Sisson, the strong side backer, who just belted him.
Yeah, it just came right off the edge to the inside on a blitz and just got popped. I mean, he was an unblocked free runner to the running back. Pretty good job by Scott to hold on to the football because he got detonated. And, you know, like Noxie was talking about Williams chugging the Gatorade, it's too late. What you have to do is you have to make sure you have enough potassium and that type of thing in your system. It has to start earlier in the week. Once you start cramping, it's tough. It's almost too late.
Third and long at the 35 of Colorado with pocket protection again. Hawkins looking over the middle of the field, and it's complete right at the marker again. The reception, the first one of the game for Steve Melton, a senior from San Clemente, California. It looks like they've got it, though, by the nose of the football, and that's the way the third 15 minutes of play comes to a conclusion. An 11-point lead for Colorado. The Buffaloes rolling once again. And you're watching a special edition of Big 12 College Football Saturday from Mile High in Denver. A special edition of College Football Saturday continues from Denver. Welcome back once again, Joel Myers, Dave Lapp, Jim Knox, Mile High in Denver. Game summary with Colorado up by 11. Back-to-back kickoff returns. Mosier for Colorado State after Smith. Wide receiver Josh Smith for Colorado. That's where we stand right now. Colorado's got it 1st and 10 at their own 43. On the quick out, Scotty McKnight in the 49. So a gain of about 6. Long time-consuming drive right now could kill Colorado State. And this series, don't forget, started way back on the Buffalo 7, where their last 2 conversions on third down, Dave, have been basically by the length of the football.
And that's a big difference in the game, Joel. Colorado's 5 of 9 on third down. Colorado State 2 of 10. With that said, they still have a 5-minute and 7-second time of possession advantage, and a lot of that is due to Johnson. 11 carries, 87 yards. He's been controlling tempo on the ground.
It'll be second, a little less than 4. Big hole up the middle. Sumler, the first down inside the 43 down to the 42. His best run of the night.
You know, and he's not going to give up snaps. I mean, he's competitive. He wants his opportunities. He knows there's a stable of true freshman running backs that are going to be pretty good, but he wants his share this year. And looks like Colorado may be redshirting Ray Polk.
Yeah, Ray Polk is the third. There's Darryl Scott, Rodney Stewart, Ray Polk. They're very healthy and wealthy in depth with true freshman running backs. Polk, freshman out of Scottsdale, Arizona. It's going to be Sumler. They walled off the right side, shoots it up the middle for a first down. Boy, what a seal they had from right tackle over.
You're right. Cleaned it up.
So another first down on this time-consuming drive, killing Colorado State. And save time and fuel by shopping comfortably at home with Overstock.com. You're at home with the Big O. Minute gone by here in the fourth. It's very similar to the score we had last year in the fourth. There's an 11-point deficit. Sumner changing directions, very nifty. Down to the 27. As long as you can run it, you'll keep it there. And that's what they're doing.
Well, the fourth quarter is where Colorado feels like their offensive line can start to take over. In their big upset victory last year against Oklahoma, the offensive and defensive line took over in the fourth quarter. And as we said a couple of times tonight, they're very, very sound at the center position with Sanders and at both tackles with Miller and Solder.
Dave, they're going no huddle, but it's not a hurry up. They're just trying to make sure Colorado State can't change personnel.
Right.
Hawkins. He's got Scott back into the game, and he weaves his way up the middle. Good-looking freshman. On first down, gets 6, almost 7. He's a big one, too. Quick for his size at 6'1", 220.
I like the way he's got 2 hands around the football. I mean, he does understand. He's listening to Coach Hawkins and all the coaching staff. They're saying right now, look, the first thing you got to make sure you do is secure the football. Don't want to see the ball on the ground anymore from you young running backs.
Scott again, trying the right side. Yards short of the first down, inside the 20. when Scott got there, not in the best of shape, and he's lost about 20 pounds. So after high school football, at the end of his high school days, put on some weight. Well, he's back in tone. He lost 20 since he arrived on campus.
Yeah, and he arrived late. He arrived at the end of June. They'd already been working out with their summer workouts for more than a month. He fell a little bit behind, and his uncle, Josh Smith, that we're taking a look at right there, basically said, hey, don't worry about this kid. Scott might be the best football player I've ever seen when we were in high school.
Second and short. Second, I'll make it third. Less than two. Low snap. Hawkins is not going to get there. They pinched in. Potto cleaned up. But pinched in earlier than that. And he's going to be short of the first down. Well, Colorado has not tried a field goal so far tonight.
He's telling his dad he's got it, but not where they spotted the ball. Took his eyes off the snap a little bit as he was looking at the blocking pattern up front.
Yeah, but that was a fastball going away, Dave.
It was, but he had his head up instead of looking the ball in. Got to look the ball in. I agree. The snap in Gerthy, as they call Sanders, Gerthy has had some difficulty with his shotgun snap last year.
So they'll go for it on fourth and less than two. Big hole. Scott breaks tackles. He's got a first down to the 12. Boy, they slide between the guard and the center a lot, don't they?
Yeah, and this is where I think right now Colorado's starting to impose their will a little bit on Colorado State. You know, they're bigger up front, and even if you're an unblocked guy, good running backs make the first one miss. And Scott made their best football player, their leading tackler, their middle linebacker, miss on that snap.
Jake Behrens is in there, blocker in the backfield, joining Darryl Scott. He's the motion man. Little play action. Hawkins corner of the end zone, and he's lucky he threw it over everybody's head, because that was a busted play.
Colorado State definitely had them out leveraged in their protection. Colorado State had two coming free to the quarterback, not just one. So they broke down that protection of Colorado pretty well right there on that snap. Coach Hawkins very pensive on the sideline after that.
This drive has already taken 6:18 off the clock. That's killing Colorado State.
They're giving them a taste of their own medicine. Colorado State's all about keep away. Colorado's doing it to them.
It's going to be second and 10 at the Rams 12. Scott again maintaining his balance, and then finally took himself down. Kubiak had something to do with it at the 5.
You know, he's
third and 3.
Sorry, Joel. He's got so many. His skill set's huge. Balance, but the vision. I mean, he backdoored that play, and when he read it, he planted that upfield foot and got north and south as quickly as anybody. I mean, the kid has got everything that a running back could ever hope to be blessed with.
This drive started back at the 7. Now it's inside the 6 of Colorado State. Hawkins out of the gun. It'll be Scott once again. He's got Behrens out in the flat. Back of the end zone, though, too tall. And he had his receiver wide open. That was Steve Melton. He's already got a grab, the senior from San Clemente, California. A walk-on last year after transferring from Saddleback Junior College.
Well, Pagnotta had an open, a free shot at the quarterback. Pagnotta missed on Cody Hawkins. He was unblocked. Cody Hawkins sidestepped him and kept the play alive, but could not complete it in the back line of the end zone.
First career attempt for Goodman, and that is at Colorado, because he was the starting place for his freshman season at Wyoming 2 years ago. It'll be a 23-yard attempt, and he gets that field goal right back. After the line had run 26 yards away. It's a 23-yarder. And back to a 14-point lead for the Buffaloes late. So they held on to it for better than 7 minutes. 5 minutes into the fourth. Leaded by 2 touchdowns. Quiet second half so far, especially after what we saw with 35 points combined between the two teams. The second 15 minutes of play, we were spoiled. Joel Myers, Dave Lappin, if not back in Denver. A 14-point lead for the Buffaloes over the Rams in Colorado State. The 80th edition of the Rocky Mountain Showdown. Next year is going to be at Folsom Field, so they dropped. This is 75,000 seats here, 57,000 as it's kicked away over the near side. It's going to be Mike Myers at the goal line. And doesn't make it. Back to the 18 or even the 20. delivering the blow. It was Marcus Burton, the inside backer out of Channelview, Texas. Oh, he had an opportunity to catch up with Dan Hawkins to talk about the rivalry, the matchup early in the season with Colorado State.
It's a good benchmark, I think, for the season, and sometimes your rivalry games down towards the end of the year, which we do have with Nebraska, but I think, you know, playing Colorado State is a great jump start to the whole season for everybody.
A lot of respect between those two coaches right there, Steve Fairchild and Dan Hawkins.
Well, it gets you going early. It's not like a Division I AA team.
You're right.
You're tested right away. It's Greer trying to break tackles. Did a good job. Get an extra 3-4 yards out of it, up the 24 for a gain of 6. Time of possession was a +6 minutes in the first half for Colorado State. In the second half, totally different story. Is they're, well, not dead even, but they're back in it. Colorado has held on to the football.
You know, getting back to Dan Hawkins' comment, Joel, it's good for the young players to realize, okay, this is where you have to be emotionally and intellectually and physically to compete in Division I football. To come out and have to match this level of intensity as a freshman.
Bell gets to the edge, and with the stiff arm, he's got the first down as Walters forces him out of bounds. They'll stop it with the ball at 34, but they need a couple of quick scores. 9:13 to play, and 2 timeouts. Don't forget, Colorado State used an early second half timeout on defense.
You know, Steve Fairchild, we mentioned how he was a left-handed quarterback for Colorado State. He was second team all-conference to a guy named Jim McMahon at BYU, who went on to fame and fortune with the Chicago Bears Super Bowl championship team.
Ferris has done a good job of managing this game. 18 of 25. He's had a touchdown toss. He's also been picked once. And plenty of time in the pocket. It's Bell. And you were talking about Steve Fairchild playing at a very high level, and we had an opportunity to watch some footage of Steve Fairchild. Great footwork and a good arm.
Yeah, nice separation from the line of scrimmage when he took that drop. And a very, very nice touch. High delivery point. He is a good quarterback. Like I said, you know, your second team all conference, you're getting some things done. And obviously a very bright quarterback because he's gone on to be an offensive coordinator at multiple locations, including the National Football League, and now he comes back to his alma mater. So that's a guy that knows what this rivalry is about. He played quarterback, coached here, coordinated here. Now he's the head coach here.
It'll be 2nd and 5. Underneath, Bongo. He's got the first down. Knocked down by McKay. Well, he's taking over for a legend. It is Sonny Lubick Field at Hughes Stadium in Fort Collins. He turned around the program when he took it over. Coming from the University of Miami as a coordinator there in 1993, Dave. What a treat for us, because I did a number of games for when Sonny Lubick was the head coach. What a gentleman. And just, you always learn something when you sat down and talked football with him.
Class act, great for the game of football, and they're good friends, Steve Fairchild and Sonny Lubick. Coach for him, obviously. He's got his son, Mark Lubick, coaching the tight ends of Colorado State, so there's a good relationship there.
Now, in trouble, and a sack. That's a coverage sack. It'll be down at the 43. Kaner, that's Taj Kaner, the junior from Inglewood, Colorado. And the coaching changes. We talk about Steve Fairchild taking over. Well, Mike Sherman, good guy that we hope will be successful at A&M. Tough one, though, yesterday for him. And Art Briles down at Baylor.
Three Big 12 changes. Briles, Pelini, Sherman. You know, and when you talk about, again, Coach Fairchild, he's one of 17 head coaches that played at the alma mater that he's now coaching. One of 17 in the country.
Now on 2nd and a dozen. Again, pocket collapsing, throws it away, and I wanted to tag those coaching changes because I want to wish the best of luck to an old friend of mine who I think is going to do an exceptional job, and that is Rick Neuheisel at UCLA, and a former Buffalo head coach who went to the University of Washington, and a real solid head coach, quality person. And it's great to see him back in college football, especially at his alma mater like Steve Fairchild. We'll shop with a company that supports college football. That's Overstock.com. At home with the O. The best of luck to Rick Neuheisel and UCLA in their opener tomorrow night at the Rose Bowl. Not an easy one. Tennessee out of the SEC.
Former MVP of the Rose Bowl when he played at UCLA.
Did the game. He was a 5th-year walk-on. Former walk-on, 5th year. Completion short of the first down on 3rd and a dozen, but I don't think they have a choice as Greer takes it in at the 46.
Walters has been very, very active tonight, and not surprising. 5th-year senior safety that makes great reads, and he's very, very physical. Coach Hawkins said at the Big 12 conference media days that Ryan Walters right away was a guy that I could hang my hat on.
Well, Dave, here comes the play of the game for Colorado State. I'm kind of surprised Gartrell Johnson is not in the backfield.
They're going to try to make him jump.
It'll be 4th and a yard. And they get the first down. Mosier. John Mosier with a snapback. He's outweighed by Johnson by about 30 pounds. The sophomore from Miami. He showed some wheels, though.
Yeah, of course, he had the big kickoff return of over 90 yards. And, overloaded. They outgapped Colorado by running a little counter play, and they had 2 lead blockers in front of Mosier, so they had more people at the point of attack that Colorado could get a hat on and generated first down as a result. That's nice, nice horns right there.
5 minutes, 40 seconds left. Colorado State has to score, get it right back. 3 and out for Colorado, down by 2 touchdowns. Ferris in trouble again, and on his way down. Behind the line, another sack. So Colorado cleaning up. That is their 4th sack of the game. That's not a shock because Colorado State gave up an average of 3 sacks a game last year. They had issues offensively. So it'll be 2nd and long.
You know, Joe, when you have your whole head painted like that guy did, don't you have to hope and pray that it comes off?
You were mesmerized by that guy. I mean, you were just like deer in the headlight. You were staring at that guy.
Wow.
He had your number.
You just have to hope that it's water soluble.
Goldfinger's a good movie. You ought to watch it.
Yeah, right.
2nd and 11 and a half. Little stunt up front. It's Deion Morton. Can't make a miss, though. No horse call. No. It looked like he had him around the top of the shoulder pads.
And they have to
Could
go
be
down.
Dead wrong, but
they have to go down immediately. And they have the horse collar rule here in college football, just like the NFL. It's a 15-yard penalty. You can't grab inside the back of that collar and then immediately pull down.
You know, Sean Mulder, junior from Newport Beach, California, transfer from Orange Grove.
Fairchild saying he was grabbing, he was pointing back to his collar and saying, "That was a horse collar, man. Missed it."
4:15 and counting left in the contest. 3rd and almost 10. Middle of the field again, and off the fingertips of Morton. Got him up, and almost like it was surprising to him that it was there. Got him up late.
Joel, I was talking to a replay official at the half, and he said that when we were trying to figure out why they were reviewing some of the plays and so forth, the pagers were going off on the field on the officials. The pagers were, as the ball's thrown high here, but the pagers were going off, and they couldn't. The headsets weren't working up top, so they were having equipment problems. They didn't know if it was related to the storm or not, but they were having equipment issues, and it was causing miscommunication problems. And the replay deal seems to be sorted out much smoother here in the 2nd half.
Kyle Ball stays in the backfield. 4th and 10. Look out, it's over.
Jones.
Down he goes. Brad Jones, a strong side linebacker. 5 sacks for Colorado to begin the new season. And they take over rundowns.
And Jones is one of those guys that can put his hand down and rush from a 3-point stance. He can rush from a 2-point, little tweener. Linebacker or defensive end, he can cause protection problems. Big sack for him right there.
.359 to play. Colorado gets it back as they stop them on downs. And the Buffaloes about to win for the 5th time over the last 6 tries against the Rams. Best connection to the game brought to you by Best Buy. First touchdown of the game. 35 yards, Scotty McKnight.
Great job by the offensive line sorting out the twist up front. Hawkins puts it over the linebacker between the safeties. McKnight secures it. Great play on all 3 levels.
You know how quiet it has been in the 2nd half, Dave? This is only the 3rd possession of the 2nd half for Colorado.
They went on, what, that 7-minute plus possession?
7 plus.
Yeah.
But both teams just been hanging on to the football. Very slow. Darryl Scott in the backfield. An impressive start for the true freshman. Out of Ventura, California, as Hawkins put it on the ground. That is a low percentage play for the running back, isn't it?
Yeah, that was another bad snap, Joel. Yeah.
Low.
Because that was another low snap. Sanders has to do a better job of getting the snap, at least at the waist of Hawkins, because if he has to bend over and pick that thing up off the turf like that, the timing's totally discombobulated, and you have no play.
Can I quote you?
Absolutely.
3.5 left, and they will milk the clock now with this no huddle set. Up by 31-17. Well, this is a huge disparity when you look at the last 5 matchups between these two teams. The difference in the game, 2.4 points per contest. Scott taking it up the middle, taking on people. He's got a first down. Running through people. Man, he got past Bagnata, a tough, strong safety first.
He's got a little turf in his face mask too, so getting that removed. Now you see the balance and the power. Lower the shoulder pads, run through a couple. That's 2 one-on-one open field broken tackles. And he's just showing great contact balance. Staying on his feet. Excellent run.
First down for the 36 of Colorado State. So last year a 6-6 record during the regular season for the Buffaloes. After 2 wins in the first year for Dan Hawkins. And now his son Cody going on the out, and it's available. Wide open at the 5. And they push out of bounds. Celestine, Kendrick's first catch of the game. Young man from Louisiana, only a sophomore. So his first grab of the game makes it 1st and goal to the 1.
Cody Hawkins, good job of surveying the field. And I think, again, his biggest asset is how quick-minded he is. He knows right away what's available, and he gets it there in a hurry. Makes it a very easy catch to make. Allows yards after catch. I think Colorado...
close to a touchdown.
Yeah, he almost got it in there. Colorado's going to be pretty decent this season, I think.
They've got enough running back. There's Darrell Scott, and there's his first career touchdown.
Well, how about that? Nephew and uncle scored the same game. Josh Smith scored his first college touchdown on the kickoff return. And then the nephew, Scott, comes back and scores his on a little 2-yard plunge over the top.
It's official now, if you had any doubts. And there is a lot of depth at the running back spot for Colorado.
Yeah, that's just a good job up front. And Scott finishes it well.
Goodman with the extra point. And now commanding lead. So a blowout, which is rare in this series. But that's the case tonight. Colorado all over Colorado State. Cody Hawkins, we talked about managing the game. He did that very well in the year of the quarterback in the Big 12. And how about 20 of 29 for 214 yards passing with a touchdown toss?
Yeah, the Big 12 is just blessed with many, many quarterbacks. And Cody Hawkins hit all quadrants of the field. He went down the middle, 35-yard touchdown McKnight. He worked the edges, the sidelines with McKnight and Williams and company. He checked down to a bunch of different receivers, got involved in the passing game, completed a high percentage. The interception was a deflection on a stunt. One of the Colorado State defensive linemen got a hand up on the football. Johnson tipped it, and they came away with the interception.
Davis sidelines it into the end zone. And Mosher will watch it sail by. So when we come back, Rams will get it once again with 2:14 to play, and they'll have it at their own 20-yard line. Running game looking very good now for Colorado. Colorado State put it back into play in a big hurry here at Mile High. They've also got a couple of receptions quickly down to the 42 and a first down. 64 seconds left in regulation. And a hold coming up as Ferris throws the pick. That will end it and maybe take it the distance, but Ferris got back into the play. The interception for the Buffaloes. Sean Moeller has had an outstanding game, the junior linebacker.
Only 53 offense, penalty is declined.
So they called Pemberton for the hold. Decline. Colorado can genuflect Take it away.
And a special edition of College Football Saturday, all brought to you by Pizza Hut. It's true. Now, restaurant quality Tuscany pastas delivered to you, Dave Lapham.
I love Tuscany
by
pasta.
Pizza Hut. That's where we're going, Dave.
That's some sad painted faces right there. We're going to Pizza Hut for Tuscany pasta.
It's our budget. Taking a knee, that'll do it. They won't stop it. And one more snap.
The old victory formation. There's nothing better than being in that huddle right now with the offensive football team saying, guys, let's just genuflect, protect the quarterback.
Colorado's got Eastern Washington at home, West Virginia at home.
Right.
On a Thursday night. West Virginia's a severe test.
It is, and they've got the gauntlet. I mean, the schedule that Colorado has is probably one of the more difficult schedules in college football.
Well, tonight a successful beginning in the third season for Cody Hawkins and his father, the head coach, Dan Hawkins. Steve Fairchild, and it's good to see him back at Colorado State, a guy that knows all about what they do there in Fort Collins. So many years under Sonny Lubick, and nice to see somebody coming back to his alma mater. As he told us that his wife there, it all comes full circle. It works out well. Let's head over to Jim Knox. Knoxy.
Thank you, Joe. Coach, you just dominated in the fourth quarter. Your offensive lineman just took the ball to him.
Well, you know, we had a few miscues in the first half and probably should have capitalized on some of that stuff, and we just kind of cleaned it up. You know, and you clean it up, get a little momentum going there, so much better job, but we got a long ways to go. We're getting there. We got a long ways to go.
Talk about the play of your quarterback, Cody Hawkins. What a job, like he's the coach's son or something.
Well, you know, he was all right. We got a few things to clean up just in terms of checking things and looking at things and some snap count deals and all that, but hey, that's why you play. We got to get better.
Nice way to jumpstart the season, right?
Well, yeah, it's a great rivalry, great to come down here, and great to get off on a good win.
Congratulations, Coach. Joel.
All right, Knoxy. On a solid beginning, a very strong second half, and especially from the defensive side. In fact, for the entire game, Colorado gave up only 258 yards of total offense, and they want to hang their hat on that, and especially out of the secondary, where they've got to improve on the corners.
Yeah, and I think, you know, typical first game. There were some special teams gaffes, back-to-back kickoff return touchdowns, but I thought overall good effort by both football teams.
And don't forget to join us next weekend. College Football Saturday Twin Bill. First BYU matching up with Washington, and then we're going to be in Lawrence. Kansas Jayhawks playing host to Louisiana Tech. It all starts with College Football Saturday kickoff, 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 on the West Coast. Now for Dave Lapham, Jim Knox, I'm Joel Myers. Thanks for joining us in Denver. Colorado prevails and dominates in the second half, winning 38-17. You've been watching a special edition of College Football Saturday. So long, everybody.
Well, who says it's only August 31st for the second straight year? The party is in Boulder. The folks wearing the black and gold exiting Invesco Field at Mile High for the second straight year. Colorado takes the Quest Rocky Mountain Showdown 38-17, the final score. The Buffaloes now lead the all-time series 59-19-2. Welcome to the FSN postgame show, everybody. My name is Tim Ring, alongside former CU quarterback Joel Klatt, former CSU quarterback Matt Newton. Joe Klatt, you have the honors. This game had a little bit of everything. Tough defense, touchdowns through the air, on the ground, and on special teams.
Yeah, the special teams touchdown. I thought that was a big turning point in the game. CSU counters a Colorado touchdown return for a return touchdown with their own return touchdown. I thought that was an opportunity for the Rams to get back in the game. They weren't able to capitalize, and thus Colorado kind of stuck it to them there in the second half.
Matt, I thought CSU hung tough. They were in the game virtually the entire four quarters, but just did not have enough offensively on this night.
Rivalry games are about momentum shifts, and anytime you got a special teams breakdown, you got to find a way to make plays and overcome it. And they did not do that tonight.
All right, lots to come on the postgame show. We're going to take you inside both locker rooms. We're also going to hear from the head coaches, Dan Hawkins for Colorado, and also Steve Fairchild. His debut as Colorado State head coach ends up in a 38-17 loss. Also, Alana Rizzo standing by on the field with George Hippolyte. But first, let's recap what happened in the first half of the 80th edition of the Quest Rocky Mountain Showdown. Hawkins and Fairchild, their first of no doubt many meetings as the head coach of these two programs. Early on, Cody Hawkins, Scotty McKnight splits the defense, gets into the end zone 35 yards. That's a 7-0 Buffalo lead.
Yeah, exactly, and Scotty McKnight again for the Colorado Buffaloes. You got speed on the outside with Patrick Williams and also Josh Smith. Who's the leading receiver for the Buffs? Scotty McKnight.
Well, another break for Colorado here. Colorado State muffs the punt, and Colorado is in business deep inside Colorado State territory. After a couple of plays, Cody Hawkins going to go to the hurry-up offense, going to take the quarterback sneak, plow in there for the touchdown. Cody puts the Buffs up 14-0.
And Cody played a terrific game. I talked in the open about how he was going to have the keys to the Buffs offense. He did. He did a great job tonight. Very calm, cool, collected. 20 of 29, and only that one interception on a pass deflection.
Yeah, Jeff Herinek with the interception here, and Colorado State looking to take advantage. Billy Ferris, Dion Morton back.
He got behind the defense. Ball was right on the money. Great play.
Just like that, it's 14-7. Then Colorado's Josh Smith going to take the ball at the 7. I think the man has wheels.
I tell you what, this guy has tremendous speed, and it shows on this kickoff return. If you can get him in space with the football, he has the ability to go all the way.
Did everybody miss the block in the back too, right there?
Well, on the ensuing kickoff, here comes John Mosier for the Rams at the 10, Matt Newton.
Anytime you get an opportunity to go back-to-back, that's a playmaker right there. You gotta love it. Just answering the call.
The rare back-to-back kickoff returns in college football, and actually, if you count the touchdown by Cody Hawkins, that's 3 touchdowns and a rivalry record 36 seconds. But the story of the first half is Colorado took the lead into the locker room. Colorado State's inability to really muster anything offensively, really their 2 touchdowns came after an interception, and then the kickoff return. So really, they only generated 1 scoring drive that resulted in only 3 points.
Exactly, and Tim, you know, the big question was how was CU going to react without Terrence Wheatley and without Jordan Dyson? Well, we saw tonight here in Mile High, you saw George Hippolyte and Brandon Nicholas play extremely well on the inside and give those Colorado linebackers the opportunity to scrape, fill their gaps, and tackle the ball carrier. As evidence, Colorado State only 69 rushing yards on the night. What a great performance from that CU defense.
Yeah, and you remember, you know what Colorado State, Matt Newton, going with a first-time starter at quarterback in Billy Ferris. They were going to try to pound the ball with Kyle Bell, and only 69 yards on the ground, and Kyle Bell was really held in check most of the night.
Yeah, one of the keys to the game that we talked about was establish the running game. That did not happen for Colorado State, and therefore, all the onus of the game came down to Billy Ferris. He did have a high completion percentage tonight, about 74%, but he needed to make a little bit better plays and maybe open up the playbook a little bit deeper down the field and take some shots.
Yeah, 23 completions, but only 160 yards. Guys, let's quickly take a look at what transpired in the second half. And again, Colorado on special teams. I think they have a weapon. You know, Missouri's got their guy over there in Columbia. Colorado is a pretty good one here, looks like Joel and Josh Smith.
Yeah, absolutely. And Josh Smith is going to be their deep threat. You can see that he's going to be their return threat. And anytime you can get the ball in the hands of a guy that can go the distance, that's huge. And then Darryl Scott, how about his first collegiate touchdown? I'm sure, Tim, first of many. Hawkins goes in there for a late score, and CU's rolling.
Yeah, CU is Darryl Scott, by the way, all eyes on number 2, the freshman out of California, Ventura, California. He rushed for 50 yards and had the 2 touchdowns, including the final score of the night for Colorado. As Steve Fairchild says, congratulations to Dan Hawkins as Colorado wins it 38-17, guys. The widest margin of victory since the Buffaloes won 41-14 way back in 2001. So it's been a while since we saw the spread this big in that final score. And again, only 250 yards, 58 yards of total offense for Colorado State. That was key. Big time credit for the Colorado defense. On this night, I thought they were outstanding.
Absolutely, and there was also some question marks at the corner position, but I thought that they played tremendous. I think that probably has to do a little bit with CSU's inability on the outside to go deep. You were talking about the vertical passing game. Where was it from CSU? Where was Corey Sperry? You know, he's their best player on offense. You weren't getting him a lot of touches.
Anytime you're in a rivalry game like this, and it's going to be tight, you cannot give up 21 points on special teams.
Absolutely.
Fumble snap. if the ball hits your hands as a punter, you got to catch it.
That's right.
You gotta catch it.
That's right. And also, guys, you know, credit the CU defense, clearly focusing on Sperry in their defensive game plan, and clearly they executed it because Sperry, as we all know, one heck of a player. George Hippolyte is one of the men in the middle of that great Colorado defensive line. He is on the field right now with our Alana Rizzo.
George, first of all, I want to start with the obvious question. There is nothing better for a win for Colorado until you get to Nebraska like beating the Rams. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, it's a great win because it's our first game. You know, we wanted to start the season off fast. I think we did a lot of good things today. We did a lot of bad things today. We got to go back to the drawing board tomorrow, clean it up, and see where we can go from there.
You know, defensively, I know that you're very proud of your guys. You guys were able to contain CSU's offense. They were not able to drive down the field effectively until really in the second half of the game, but you were able to contain them. Just your thought on how your unit played as a whole.
You know, I think we played well. We made some mistakes. They got us for some big runs. Guys didn't fit up correctly. But I think the most important thing, we held them out when we could, you know. That one touchdown they got, you know, it was a sudden change, and we didn't do a good job. But the rest of that time, we held them out. We didn't let them score when they got in the red zone.
You know, the way that college football goes this year, or any year, you lose one game and a lot of people's national title hopes are dashed. But how important is it to get this first win?
You know, for us, the way we look at it is we always want the next one, you know. And this was our first one. This is the only one we had, so we had to prepare for it. And we came out and we put together a good effort. And luckily, you know, the score came out on our side.
All right, a big win for the Buffs. Enjoy this one. Thanks so much.
Thank you, too.
All right, back to you, Tim.
All right, Alana, thank you very much. And again, the Colorado State rushing game only amounts for 69 yards. And again, you credit Hippolyte and Nicholas in the middle of that Colorado defense. We wondered who would replace Jordan Dizon. Right. And although, Joel, in the pregame show, you said Dizon might be one of the best football players you ever played with. You said a lot of his success was predicated on the play of Hippolyte and Nicholas. And it looks like that's going to hold true here for another year, despite the fact Dizon's in the NFL.
Yeah, and we definitely saw that tonight. The linebackers were able to fit their gaps extremely efficiently and get to the ball carrier. You didn't see Kyle Bell or Johnson running free after the second level. Always a linebacker was there to make contact, to stop them within 5 yards. And then the safeties. I can't underestimate the play of the CU safeties. Daniel Dykes as well as Ryan Walters. Ryan Walters is also one of the better run defenders on the team. Even though he plays safety, he showed it tonight. He was always around the ball, even on third downs, stopping the short passes to Sperry in the flat. He did a great job tonight.
Matt, and I know you haven't a chance to take a look at the film and really break this down, but your overall impressions of Steve Fairchild's first performance as Colorado State head coach?
I think he definitely kept the reins on the quarterback, Billy Ferris. You know, he takes time to develop a quality quarterback, and I think he knows that. But be that as it may, they needed to test him a little bit more vertical. The defense did a great job covering sideline to sideline, but they had no threat deep, and they needed that.
And they got to go back to work on special teams.
Absolutely. And the NFL, this is what I was surprised about. The NFL is all about matchups. Your best matchup on the field was Corey Sperry versus the CU defense.
They can't double team everyone.
Absolutely. You can't double team everyone, but you didn't take advantage of any times that he was single covered. That's something that I was a little bit frustrated with for the CSU side. Billy Ferris would have had a great opportunity to get some confidence if he was going to Sperry, especially early.
Well, Colorado again winning at 38-17, probably the most anticipated debut for a Colorado freshman in a long, long time, maybe ever. Talking about Darrell Scott, who
Houston,
had,
maybe.
who had 2 touchdowns and 50 yards on the ground. Alana Rizzo is with Darrell Scott. Alana.
All right, Tim, thanks very much. Darrell Scott, first of all, your first game, Division I with the Colorado Buffaloes, did it meet your expectations?
It did. The fans, 70,000 people, it's crazy. I enjoyed it.
You know, what did you do the night before the game? I know a lot of people say they can't sleep, that all they can do is think about it. How did you prepare?
I went to sleep at 10:30 and was just like, when I wake up, it's game time.
You know, talk about the nerves, or if you had any nerves coming into this game, Darrell, and what it meant for you to be able to get a couple of catches, to get those under your belt and kind of, you know, calm down a little bit.
Well, the first run I had, I slipped. So I'm just like, I gotta get on track. And then when my uncle scored on that first kickoff return, I'm just like, oh, man, that's the tone setter right there. So I got to get going.
You know, he was a big reason, obviously, why you chose Colorado over some other schools. You know, Texas also in the Big 12. What was it about this place that convinced you to come, besides your family ties?
Just Coach Hawk, Coach Hagan, just the relationship I had with all the team. And it was big. I mean, when I first got here on my first recruiting trip, everybody was like, hey, Darrell, we really need you, and this and that and the other. And I knew Coach Hagan for a long time, so that played a big part.
I'm sure they've told you how important this rivalry is between CSU and Colorado. Do you believe it now?
I didn't believe it, but after I walked through that tunnel, oh, man, I was just like, okay, it's game time.
All right, well, congratulations for getting game one under your belt. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, Tim, back to you.
All right, Alana, thank you very much. Joel, when I watched Darryl Scott, here's what I liked about the kid. It looks like he was kind of feeling out college football.
Absolutely.
Going down on first contact, not really breaking a lot of tackles. But as the game went on, he kind of felt his way and began to assert himself. And you saw the ability we've all heard about start to manifest itself on the field.
I think what you saw early, Tim, is a player that was thinking about what he was supposed to be doing. He was thinking about his responsibilities rather than just going out and reacting. What you started to see late in the fourth quarter, was Darryl Scott and all his talent. He started breaking tackles, and he started getting the bulk of the carries. A fourth down, a big fourth down late in the fourth quarter. Who gets the ball? Darryl Scott, a true freshman. I think we're starting to see the confidence that Darian Hagan and Dan Hawkins are going to have in this kid, and we know, you saw it, he is special. When he gets the ball in space, you can see the speed, you can see the explosiveness.
Well, there's no question, Joel, when you get a player with this kind of ability, now granted, no matter what you do in high school, you always got to prove yourself at the Division I level. But clearly, when we look at the Colorado program and where it's at, this is a guy that's going to come in, and he's going to get opportunities to be the man, and this is his first season.
And especially, you're going to sell tickets. I mean, that's huge for the Colorado Buffaloes. Let's face it, it's not always full in Folsom Field.
We already know it's about money.
Yeah, exactly. This guy is going to fill up the seats because he's electrifying. We heard the crowd tonight chanting Darryl Scott's name. Here's a guy who's going to bring people to the game and ultimately here we go, the Darryl chant going on behind us. He's ultimately, hopefully, going to get them to that point where they can compete with Oklahoma and compete with Texas.
All right, Matt, you touched on earlier special teams and what a big part it played in the game, especially against Colorado State. Their mishaps on special teams really cost them some plays, but it was a good effort by both special teams. And Josh Smith, many of you may or may not know, is actually Darryl Scott's uncle. Early on, it was a snafu by the CU special teams, and then the muff punt here, Matt, that of course led to a Colorado touchdown to put them up 14-0.
You're just giving them points. You just can't do that. You're giving away too many points.
Now, guys, when you look at this one here, credit the Colorado kickoff team or discredit the Colorado State kickoff team?
You got to show up. I mean, you got to have all three phases of the game ready to go. People got to make plays. You're on special teams for a reason. Make the tackle. Get off the block.
And the same reasons that Colorado just returned a touchdown, I think it's the same reason that CSU repeated the feat and went all the way to the house on the ensuing kickoff, and that is that the kickoff team was not filling their lanes. When I'm talking about filling lanes, that means staying in your gap responsibility. I say that a lot tonight. Gap responsibility means, hey, if I'm responsible for between the hash and the numbers, as a kickoff return man, I've got to be there, and when the return man is there, I've got to make the tackle.
Early season mental errors.
Absolutely.
Can't have it.
I will tell you, but watching both those returns, it looked like Colorado missed several tackles on the CSU return, whereas a lot of the players on the Rams on the Colorado return were just flat out blocked.
Yes.
Either way, they're mistakes on the kickoff coverage.
No question.
All right, once again, Colorado wins it 38-17. They have now won back-to-back games here in the Quest Kickoff Classic. Colorado now leading the all-time series 59-19-2. And again, it's the widest margin of victory since 2001 when Colorado, in the debut of Invesco Field at Mile High, knocked off the Rams by a final score of 41-14. So, Joel, I'm going to go back to you.
Yeah.
As Colorado now gets off to the 1-0 start, are you starting to see the progression you want to see in the Dan Hawkins era, the Dan Hawkins program? I know it's only one game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But compare this to the debut against Montana State.
Well, gee, I mean, that's leaps and bounds.
That's
obviously.
what I'm saying, yeah.
Well, what I will say is that in the fourth quarter, what you did see from the Colorado Buffaloes is a team putting away the game, finishing the game. They did not let the Colorado State Rams back in that game because they were able to run the football. That is something that Colorado has not been able to do for probably 4 or 5 years now, and that is just hand it to a back like Darryl Scott and let him run out the clock.
Well, as we mentioned in the pregame show, not about the X's and O's, it's about the Jimmies and the Joes. Now you got a pretty good guy in Darryl Scott that can execute the running game. There's been a lot of turnover there the last couple of years. Let's go back to Invesco Field inside the stadium. Alana is with Josh Smith. Alana.
All right, guys, thanks very much, Tim. All right, Josh, just want to talk about you guys offensively, able to move the ball effectively down the field, spread out their defense. Very, very efficient play on your side of the ball.
Yes, the offense is just, man, we were just sticking to our game plan, setting the tempo, just continue to keep it hurried up,
and moving the ball down the field and trusting in one another, you know, playing for each other.
Right. You know, they had a couple of opportunities, meaning CSU, to get back into this game. How important was it for you guys to be able to shut them down?
Wow, I think our defense really stepped up big for us. We had our crowd. Man, that 12th man, they showed up big, you know, because we know that it takes everything. You know, the defense, it takes the sidelines to continue to believe in our defense. And, I mean, a lot of people underestimated our defense because we don't have Jordan this year and missing Wheatley, and those guys are both real successful in the league right now. But we got other guys that have been waiting to step up and fill that position, and those guys showed up real big today, holding CSU to 17 points.
All right, next man in mentality here at the University of Colorado. I'll let you get with your teammates and enjoy this one. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
All right, Tim, back to you.
All right, Alana, thank you. And he's only a sophomore. I think the Colorado offense and special teams in good hands.
Absolutely.
The next couple of years with Josh Smith and Daryl Scott handling the football. 38-17, Colorado over Colorado State. We're taking a timeout here. The postgame show continues live from Invesco Field. We'll take you inside. We're going to hear from Hawkins and Fairchild after the break. Rocky Mountain Showdown postgame report is brought to you by Wendy's. It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's. By King Soopers, where in your neighborhood. And by Dodge, live life to the fullest. Grab life at your Front Range Dodge dealer. 38-17, the final score in the 80th meeting between Colorado and Colorado State. Colorado a winner for the 59th time. Welcome back to the post-game show right here on FSN. Tim Ring, Joel Klatt, and Matt Newton. Guys, let's revisit the quarterback matchup tonight. Cody Hawkins in year 2. Billy Ferris making his starting debut as a member of the Colorado State Rams. And Hawkins, Joel, I think did exactly what you want and expect out of the sophomore, the redshirt sophomore. He managed the game. He was efficient. He was 20 for 29. He did have the one interception on a tip ball.
Exactly, but he threw for over 200 yards. He's got this touchdown, the tip ball that you mentioned there, Tim. But Cody Hawkins did some things that only mature quarterbacks do, and that is throw the ball away. A lot of people don't like to see a quarterback do that. Sometimes you even get booed for it, Matt Newton. But I tell you what, when you're in trouble, especially out of the pocket, that's sometimes your safest play. This was his best throw of the day, right down the chute to Scotty McKnight, right on the money, allowing Scotty McKnight to get in the end zone. What I liked from Cody Hawkins is I never saw him get flustered all night. He was in the no huddle for the first time. It's the first game of the year. Sometimes in a rivalry game, you can let your emotions get the best of you. You get too excited, and that's just what happens is that you start forcing things down the field. Cody Hawkins stayed within himself, ran the offense extremely efficiently.
You know, I think it helps for Cody Hawkins that he's been in this offense since conception.
Exactly.
Cody Hawkins is with Alana Rizzo right now inside Invesco.
All right, Tim, thanks very much. Cody Hawkins, and you know what? It's just an exciting time every time the Buffs and the Rams get together. Talk about how well your offense and everybody performed in this one.
I thought everybody did an awesome job, especially with all the highs and lows that we had in this game. It's very tough to keep a steady head, and I thought we did that. Our offensive line really responded in the second half, did a great job for us, and our defense really stepped up when we needed them most. And special teams even had a couple great plays for us.
You know, you mentioned everybody playing well. Specifically on special teams, have you ever seen two back-to-back, touchdowns come back for that amount of yardage?
I mean, I've seen it on TV, but I knew Josh could do it. And when that kid got rolling, I was going to be shocked if somebody caught him. So they did an awesome job responding to all the punches that we threw at them. And they're a great football team, and everybody should be really excited about what they're going to do the rest of the year.
You know, you also mentioned highs and lows in this game. But yeah, you guys were able to come back when they, kind of punched you in the gut there with that long run. You were able to respond. How much has confidence and just maturity played into that for this football team?
I think our team has matured a lot over the last offseason just because we got a lot of confidence in our offseason program from 2006 to 2007. We knew that if we kept persevering, then good things were going to happen for us. So we just had to keep grinding, taking care of the football and taking care of our personal assignments, and good things were going to happen.
Last question for you. How important is it to set the tone for the first game of the year?
It's very important. We want to start fast and finish strong, and it can be tough to start fast against a great team like Colorado State. And we kind of stumbled out of the gates in the first quarter a little bit, but we did finish strong today, and that was very important for us getting this win.
All right, thank you for your time. Enjoy this one.
All right, thank you. Ashley, Brittany, Drew, love you. Take care.
All right, guys, back to you.
It's Tim, Joel, and Matt. Cody,
where's
please.
the love?
Jeez.
I tell you what.
Jeez Louise. Well, you know, Matt Newton, you know, Cody Hawkins called Colorado State a great team. And, you know, the fact is they were a 3-win team a year ago. But let me tell you something. That's not a 3-win team I saw out here tonight. I think this team has an opportunity to do some good things in the Mountain West, especially if they get continued improved play out of the quarterbacking position.
No question. He was 23 for 31 today, 74% completion. Anytime you have that level of completion, you have a grasp of the offense. You're making the correct reads. You're making the right throws. And I thought he did a great job. He's taking a step in the right direction. However, there were not enough shots down the field, I don't think. I don't think he had the opportunities on the play calls on his side. So, quarterbacks are paid to throw touchdown passes. He's going to need to make a dramatic improvement in that over the year.
You know, sometimes I think a head coach says, okay, I got a first-time starter out there. I'm not going to make him win the football game. I'm going to make sure he doesn't lose it.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you see that in the play calling.
Exactly, and a lot of times what you see from first-time starters is they're going out there with the handcuffs on. And I thought we saw that from Billy Ferris a little bit in the first quarter, not being able especially to go down the field, in the middle of the field to Corey Sperry.
Yeah, they gave him an opportunity, though, early in the game. They went fourth down. He needed to make a throw. Didn't happen. Turned the ball over.
You know, I guarantee this. He's going to get better.
No
Speaking
question.
of Steve Fairchild, let's hear from the first-year Colorado State head coach.
Tell you, you know, I'm very disappointed we did not win the game, but I made sure, you know, this last week that our team, you know, the other things I wanted to come out of this game were did we play physical and did we play together? You know, I didn't want to get any. I didn't want to be a soft football team, and I didn't want to get any bickering and non-communication with our from player to player, player to coach. And I was really pleased in both those areas. You know, we wore down a little bit on that long drive in the third quarter, and you know, we just couldn't find a way to get off the field. And you know, I looked up at one point; they looked gassed. You know, we looked gassed. I thought, Jesus, this is just. I mean, I hate to say it was bad football there for a few plays, but that, you know, it was a tremendous drive. More power to them. They ended up converting it, and they did a nice job on that drive.
Coach, there were some big momentum shifts in this game.
Yeah.
How did your team responded to those?
You know, good and bad. You know, I mean, you know, we fumbled that special team snap. You know, our defense, I thought, hung in there real well in the first half, particularly. You know, but you fumble a snap and give them that, you know, real short field down there, and you know, obviously you'd like to rise up and hold them to a field goal, and we couldn't. But you know, they return a kick, we return a kick. I mean, you know, we did some good things. We fought hard. I can't say enough. I like our kids. You know, we have a chance to be a good football team if we'll play like we did tonight.
Were you concerned with how much pressure they were getting?
I was, and it surprised me. You know, I thought we'd run the ball decent. You know, and it looked like at times, given the situation, and again, they had some safeties on or near the line of scrimmage a lot, and. But I thought we'd run the ball and block them pretty good up front. And, you know, for the most part, I thought our line did good in the run game. I didn't think we would struggle in the protection area like we did. And, you know, that's sometimes the speed of the game, and that opener is, you know, and they've got, you know, those guys are pretty good edge rushers. They've got some speed, and we knew that. But I thought we'd hold up a little bit better. What did we end up with? 5 sacks, I think. And that's you're not going to win very many games doing that.
That's first-year head coach Steve Fairchild of Colorado State, dropping his Colorado State debut 38-17, the final at Invesco Field in front of 69,000 plus on a warm and humid night here in Denver, Colorado. We're taking a break on the postgame show, the Centennial Cup in Boulder for one more year. Our Rocky Mountain Showdown postgame report is brought to you by Chevy. Did you know Chevy has 8 models that get an EPA estimate 30 mpg highway or better? Chevy made for Colorado. And by Quest, get in the loop and change the way you connect with the things you love. Well, college football fans have spoken, and the Quest Rocky Mountain Showdown text rivalry votes are in, and it's a CSU Rams victory. Quest will donate $5,000 to the Fort Collins Boys and Girls Club chapter. $3,000 goes to the Boulder chapter. Plus, Quest will donate an additional $2,000 to Metro Denver clubs. Quest thanks CU and CSU fans who got involved and got in the loop. Over 70,000 fans texted for the. So Matt, take solace in the fact you didn't win on the field, but you won on the cell phone.
That's what I'm talking about. At least you went to a good cause.
That's right. It really did. Hey, we talked about the job the Colorado defense did on Corey Sperry, and also maybe the job CSU didn't do of getting Corey Sperry the football. Held to a very, very minimal effort tonight. We'll have his numbers for you in a bit. But Corey Sperry meeting the media inside the Colorado State locker room.
Different rhythm at that point?
You know, it's one of those things. We had rhythm, we didn't have rhythm. I mean, it's not a lot we could do, it's not a lot we couldn't do. We just didn't have a rhythm out there going like we should have. I mean, a lot of plays they had us controlled, and a lot of plays we ran real well. It just seems like, you know, our offense was slipping and our defense was slipping. We just got to get that stuff controlled.
Did the knee feel better? I mean, you felt healthy? I mean, everything.
Yeah, knee's not a situation at all. I mean, that's why I had surgery to get it fixed, so that's not even a situation. It's just a team. We just didn't play like we should have.
Did you feel like you guys had some opportunities to make this a game?
Oh, yeah, we had opportunities. I mean, we get a kickoff run back on us. You know, we have a lot of plays, mistakes, and, you know, people not doing the right things. And, I mean, that's what's going to happen. If you don't have a perfect game against a team like that, you're going to end up losing, and that's what happened.
Did you feel like you were open a few times and didn't get a look?
Oh, I don't even know. Sometimes I felt open, sometimes I didn't. You never know.
Nice job.
Oh, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Yeah, you guys controlled me good today. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
How's the knee doing?
Good. Yeah, the surgery came out. We have everything. I feel better than last year. So.
Good luck.
Good. Thanks.
That's a nice moment of class there as Colorado's Dan Hawkins comes up to congratulate Corey Sperry. Hawkins knows how dangerous Sperry can be, as Sperry scored 3 touchdowns in this game last year. And now on this night, Dan Hawkins' defense holds Sperry to unofficially just 2 catches for 11 yards. Matt, I think that might be the untold story of the game, the job that Colorado did on Corey Sperry.
No question. I mean, we were talking earlier, they can't double team everyone, but somebody else has got to step up on the offense and make a play. I mean, somebody's got to be open if you're double teaming a guy, and it just comes down to making plays in big rivalry games. And obviously it didn't come, tonight. We didn't make enough of them.
All right, there you go. 38-17, Colorado over Colorado State. We're going to take one more break right here on the postgame show. When we come back, final thoughts on a pretty good night for football at Invesco Field at Mile High as the Colorado fans celebrate for the 2nd straight year. Keep it here. Well over 69,000 fans on hand to see it. Nary an empty seat in the place as Colorado knocks off Colorado State for the 2nd straight year. The final score 38-17. It was closer than that, but in the end, too much Colorado offense, not enough Colorado State offense. So Dan Hawkins off to a victory for the 2nd straight year. Let's listen in to his post-game press conference.
Well, we want to continue to work him in there. As you found out from him, and you guys know this, you've covered sports a lot. I mean, freshman, you're a freshman. And no matter how great a player you are, there's still a big, steep learning curve. And, you want to make sure that you put them in a situation where they can be successful and be comfortable. And, I told you guys this a long time ago. He's going to be a great player. There's no question about that. Now, is it game 1 or game 5? Who knows? But we're just going to keep bringing him along. And Coach Hagan's done a nice job with that, just kind of getting him going.
Coach, would you agree with Cody that it's always great when you first game, even more so in a rivalry like this?
Yeah, I mean, you've got your rival, and then you've got that first game. I really think you put a lot of credence on it. My guys make fun of me all the time with all these stats, but if you win your first game, typically you're going to win over 70% of your games, typically. So that's a big deal to get going. And with our schedule, hey, every win is precious, so we need to scratch and claw and take stock of each one of them.
How much did what they did offensively match what you thought they did?
There were a few wrinkles in there. I thought our defense did a pretty nice job of adjusting a little bit in there. They were, fairly close to what we thought, by and large.
What about the night that Josh Schmidt had returning? It's not just the one he returned for
Yeah.
but all of them. It looked like he could go.
Yeah, he can. He has a potential. And I told our guys, I thought it'd be on punt return, but I told our guys before the game, I really thought we were going to score on a return somewhere and end up being kickoff return because he is very, very dynamic, and then everybody else does a nice job working to get done what they need to get done. And he's a real pleasure to have on the team. I mean, those of you that know him, he's an awesome kid. He's a smart kid, gregarious kid, and he's very talented.
Stan Hawkins victorious in his third meeting against Colorado State, now 2-1 in the rivalry as head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. And Joel, next up for CU, a home game against Eastern Washington. I think it's safe to say expectations are that this team should be 2-0 after next Saturday.
Yeah, and then they hit the gauntlet of their schedule, really. They're going to have West Virginia, they're going to have Florida State, and then they're going to have Texas. Those are their 3 next games.
Oh, and then Kansas at Kansas.
Oh, by the way, Kansas, who is a very good football team, but this Colorado team is on the way right now. You see their schedule right there, and then they're going to go to Missouri late in October. That's going to be a huge game. Obviously, Nebraska at the end always gains those red letters for the University of Colorado Buffaloes, but tonight I thought they played good enough to win. Obviously, you would have loved to have seen them come up here and try to put the game away early, but you're never going to see that in a CSU-CU victory on either side. But I will say this, Steve Fairchild has done a great job so far at CSU, and I think we're only a couple years away from maybe both teams being ranked in this matchup.
Yeah, he's got him going in the right direction, without question. Defense kept him in it early.
Yeah.
Special teams let him down, and offense didn't make enough big plays.
Yeah.
All right, next up for Colorado State, a home game next Saturday against Sacramento State, and then Houston comes to Fort Collins, so the Rams could be looking at a 2-1 start before heading off to California. But the bottom line is the Quest Rocky Mountain Showdown 2008 is in the books. Colorado, a 38-17 winner over Colorado State. FSN live from our studios in Denver, and also here from Invesco Field coming up next. So once again, our final 38-17 for Matt Newton and Joe Klatt. My name is Tim Ring. Have a great night, everybody. The Centennial Cup back to Boulder for the second straight year.